all know why we're here. So let me ask you a question then. Why the big secret? Truth seekers, but really the true leaders. Keep it grooving, the movement like two-seaters. Turn it up, we knocking through both speakers. It's time we get the truth from the big secret keepers. Hey, truth seekers, but really the true leaders. Keep it grooving, the movement like two-seaters. Turn it up, we knocking through both speakers. It's time we get the truth from the big secret keepers. Hey, break it down, now can you peep it? They're deceiving all the people. Let me ask you, what's the secret? Misinformation and lies, a devious disguise. They want the EMF blast until our brains is fried. Oh, point their beams in the sky. Oh, it's a movie now. This world is all CGI, their plot is truly foul. But we're here to rise up and bring the real. Time is now, truth seekers, y'all know how I feel. Truth seekers, we're really the true leaders. Keep it grooving, the movement like two-seaters. Turn it up, we're knocking through both speakers. It's time we get the truth from the big secret keepers. Hey, truth seekers, we're really the true leaders. Keep it grooving, the movement like two-seaters. Turn it up, we knocking through both speakers. It's time we get the truth from the big secret keepers. Hey, why the big secret?
All right, truth seekers. I just want to say today is hump day. And whatever that means to you, that means that you're in the middle of your week. But I know, you know what? Some people weeks start a little different. So I want to welcome you to Why the Big Secret podcast and YouTube channel and show. I'm Roderick Martin, your host, and we're going to be having a good one and a good debate for you tonight. And I think it's going to be for the heavyweights to say we're going to get down into finding out about the aliens and the ghosts. But in the meantime, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here tonight, because you could have been anywhere else. By being right here now, we're going to serve you. And how we're going to do that, I'm glad you asked. We're going to be the boldest, baffling, belligerent YouTube channel in the world, creating captivating conversations that'll certainly cause controversy. And join me tonight with the ghost hunter, Marie Jackson. And we're going to have some of our guys come up and commentate as well. But in the meantime, I want to do this for you. I want to bid you good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you may be in the 24 time zones that this show is showing, and just say that we got a good one for you tonight. So, hey, like I said, put the children to bed, because things we talk about is not good for them. And if you have not fixed dinner, shame on you. And okay, well, here we're going to do. Fix some biscuits, some bacon, some syrup. Yeah, okay, it's a Texas thing, right? Because I'm in that jumbo state where the UFOs come out to play. And so, yes, I do have a recipe for you. But now we're going to get with it. I'm ready. I'm excited. I'm hyped. I'm full of grapes, or whatever that means. It ain't wine. But at the end of the day, I'm excited about what we're going to do. So share this channel. Make sure you like it. And let's get with it, everyone, right now. First of all, let me thank each and every one of you for being here, and I'll get to our chat over here and say, hey, we got Dinah's here with us, C-Tech is with us, Ghostlink TV is in the house as well, and then, of course, we got Hope, and let's see who else. Aisha is with us, Sonia, into Another World News. Make sure you guys support her YouTube channel. She got a lot of good information when it comes down to this UFO. We got Boo is there with us, Jamie. And our buddy Nick is here as well, and he said he hoped we talk about Jacques Vallée's experience. I'm sorry, with high strangeness. Okay, so we'll get down with that as well. Divine Shadow is here, and he says, "Why not both?" Because the question that I asked is, which one is more believable? Is it the ghost or aliens? And we're going to get down with this tonight because I think it's one of these things that not just the proof is in the pudding, but then it goes down to society, what people are thinking, and is one more stronger or one more prominent in the society than the other? And then we've already talked about, is there some connection? Now that I think there may be some disconnect, then okay, which one is more believable? And so we're going to talk about that tonight with Marie as we go down this rabbit hole for there. But in the meantime, again, just want to thank each and every one of you here. So if you also have not had an opportunity, check out some of our other videos that we shot this week and live streams and comment on those. Thank you for all. If you're new here from Forbidden Knowledge. And so, we stream there on Tuesdays as well. And then pretty soon look forward to, I think it's UAM TV. You're going to find that I'm doing some videos there where we're going to be doing it. It's called Exoteric Review, filming some shows and stuff there. So in the meantime, again, Maria will be here with us in just a few moments, and then we'll go from there. I don't know if you guys know, but I just want to kind of touch this a little bit. I have a heart, I really do, and I haven't cried as a man in a long time. But I watched this movie, 13 Lives, last night. And when I tell you, and I'm just saying, I know it's not about UFOs, and don't get mad and don't get off the channel. All that, check that out. This is about those kids that was in that cave over there, and they was trapped there for all them days, and the heroic efforts of people trying to get them out. And I've never seen anything like it in my life, where the town, the people from all over the world, everybody was just so involved trying to get these boys out of this cave. And it was the most profound thing I ever seen, and something that we will never see here in our country, where there was one scene where they had to flood the fields, and they didn't know if it was going to work. Nobody knew what would work. They just said, hey, we got to flood these fields to get this water away from here, and all of you are going to go broke. You're going to lose your crops and everything. And they was just like, that's the only hope, and we got to see if it's okay. And them people came together and looked at him and said, is it for the boys? Yeah. And then they go, is it going to work? And the guy was honest. He says, I don't know if it was going to work. You're going to lose your money. You're going to lose everything. But I don't know if this is going to work. And those people said, go for it. I was like, God, dog it. That's what I'm talking about. Imagine somebody said, for the extraterrestrials going to free energy, go for it. Get rid of oil and all that. Shit, no, that is not going down. So anyway, that's my small talk, but y'all need to check that movie out. Yes, that was in Asia. They all lived, by the way. So just let y'all know, it was a sad thing, but they lived. They saved them. So that is not no spoiler alert, because it was in the news. This actually happened. But the movie itself goes through what they went through. And let me say something else. Those boys survived, and we're going to talk about this in our shows. The boys survived because their coach told them how to meditate. They was in complete darkness for 10 days, 18 days. They had flashlights every now and then, and they had no food. And he said, I gotta get y'all to get the fear. And he taught them how to sit there and meditate. Yeah, one of the rescuers did die. Yes, one of them, there was a tragic part of that. But he taught them how to meditate. And I'm working on meditation now. That's why I got the singing bowls here, that app that I was telling y'all about, the power of it. Like this morning, I had a ache, and I actually started meditating the light, and went there and breathing to get rid of the pain. And it actually worked. And I was like, whoa, because I'm reading this book about healing. So anyway, yeah, it was just one of those deals. So I hope if any of you had a UFO experience, I definitely want to hear about that. So if you get ready, Marie is on her way in her limousine, and she will be getting out that, and then get passing all the security and fans, and we'll get her up and everything else, because when you're a stardom like that, and all of that, and a ghost hunter, and TV shows like she's doing, and going in haunted places, even the ghost come out of the woodworks to try to follow her around. And so therefore it's just one of those things, and she'll be here in a minute. I'm serious. It's like a theatrical event when she comes in, and so to get her into the studios and everything. We got the greatness. Mateo is going to be around. Y'all know who that is. Him and Rob. When we get down to some questions, and maybe they're here, maybe they not. I'm going to surprise y'all, but it's not part of the. It's going to be me and Marie talking, but we're going to open up some dialogue, and then like some of you who's going to be part of the show in the futures, definitely. Where you're going to have some commentary. Thanks for those who did send me an email. I did speak with a couple of you, and I'm excited about that as well. And again, if any of you knew if you need a camera or a mic, we do have somebody who's going to, two people is going to chip in on that. And we just might already have a candidate and for that as well. So we'll see. All right. So with that being said, let me check and see if my people can get in contact with her people, and then get Marie into the conversation. Because you don't need an introduction, you'll just kind of know what's going on there. So with that being said, oh, she's here. You made
That's
it. How you doing?
hilarious. Let me talk to my driver and make sure he's good so that way I can get back into this.
Make sure you tip it, right? That
Make
Uber
sure I tip
driver.
him, me and my people
Yeah.
and everybody.
Yeah. So anyway, welcome, Marie. It's been a while, and
Absolutely.
everybody was praying for you and your family. Did share
Thank
with
you.
them just some of the details from last week. So, uh,
Yeah. Yeah. It was a
yeah.
it was a scary journey. My mother getting sick, but she's doing a lot better. So everybody that did pray, thank you so much. She's
Okay.
coming through.
Okay. So mom is good.
Mom is good.
All right, then we could get into it. Then she's good. All right. So
Mom is
let's
good.
get the conversation. Mom is good. So, Marie, you and I have been here. We talked about the Ghost Link and some of those things, but now I think we're going to go into the heavyweight conversation of it. All right. I already know if we weigh in, I got it. But the whole
Yeah.
point is we're going to talk about uh, when we talk about ghosts and we talk about extraterrestrials and aliens, you know, which one does society truly begins to process and believe in? Because both of them is kind of this phenomenon. When you think about ghosts, like I said, at one
Yeah.
point in time, I'm thinking evil spirits anyway, not to be happy go lucky. But now we're talking about UFOs, and now that it's becoming mainstream media. We did an interview the other day with, or we showed an interview when we did it on Forbidden Knowledge, where we had you know, Tucker Carlson and Dr. Gary Nolan, and he, really started talking about just this thing as being a natural occurrence. And so what I'm thinking is, now that we have this NDAs, all these things where people are, the whistleblowers amendment, where people are going to be able to come out and really talk about UFOs. Now I'm thinking, would that make people believe it more? Because now we know ghost stories been out there for a long
Yeah.
time, and we got movies, and Eric Casper, the Friendly Ghost. When I'm a kid, I'm growing up with that cartoons, right? So
Yeah.
I think people believe in that, but we still got this faction of people who don't believe in the aliens and
Yeah.
extraterrestrials. So today, I'm gonna let you present
Yeah.
why people should believe more in ghosts, and I'm gonna tell you why I think the UFO thing, and
Well,
we'll open up some more conversation. But before we get into that, um, you had an experience. You say y'all went out and was at a place.
oh,
Tell me about that, and what you do when you went to this
yes.
do a ghost thing.
Yeah, so I'm getting in the habit of doing at least one field investigation every week. That's my
Hmm.
goal, to investigate some new places. So there's a winery out here in Kansas City, Missouri, called the Belvoir Winery,
Okay.
and it's actually called the Odd Fellows Home, which that name has a lot of history to it. But on this actual location, there are 600 graves. There's a kid's gravesite, then there's the adult gravesite, burial sites, and then there's three abandoned buildings. Then there's the main location where they have all of the events, all the functions, all the wedding ceremonies, and all. It's a beautiful venue. So my brother and I went out to do the investigation, and it was about 1:30 in the morning. This is the weirdest thing that just happened to us, and we're still trying to wrap our minds around it. So about one
I mean,
thirty in
is
the
that a
morning.
day shift? I mean, why? How come you guys didn't go like 9 o'clock a.m.? I mean, is there a difference between ghosts don't hang out at night? Now
I
we're
mean,
talking
it's
vampire
better at
stuff.
night. It's more suspenseful at night. You know, the
No,
eeriness, the darkness. It's better content for my videos.
I mean, because
So,
we
but
can
we
see UFOs and aliens in the daytime. Remember,
well,
this debate is which one you should believe because now y'all can only see ghosts at night, and that makes
not true.
us a little leery.
Not true. Ghosts have no rationality on if it's daytime, nighttime. They come out any given time. I think it just makes better content when it's more eerie and at night than in the daytime.
I'm sorry,
But
I'm mistaken.
they don't
Freaks,
they don't
freaks come
discriminate.
out at
I tell
night.
you
I
that.
forgot. Freaks come out at
They
night. My
don't
bad.
discriminate.
My bad. My bad.
So we're at this big location and we're doing this investigation. We get there about 8:30, get settled in, get our equipment set up. We go out about 12:30, 1 o'clock. So we're walking around the grounds and we're walking back towards the front of the building so we can redirect ourselves around to the graveyard. This gentleman pulls up in a little miniature car and he's like, "You guys can't record here. You can only record during the daytime
When you say
because
miniature cart or car,
car, the little small car." We're
huh?
like, okay, this is an awkward setup because he's a
Like
big
one of
guy.
them, like one of them circus cars. You know, where about 10 people jump out.
Yeah, surprisingly, they always do. It's always
Yeah,
more people in those little cars.
yeah.
But so he's circling around and he announced himself as being the security guard for the location. And he's at the end of his shift. He's telling us we can't film while it's evening. So I said, well, the information I got was a little different.
Mm.
So he's like, well, screw it. I'm gonna just show you guys around. I'll take you on a tour. I got friends that are black. And he was like, honestly, I've never seen any black investigators out here before. So he was
Okay,
so intrigued by that that he was
okay.
like, he'll go ahead and give us a tour of the whole facility.
Yeah, you gonna get
So
y'all with special tours now. You
yeah,
know, the
we
brothers
got the
are here.
special
We need to
accommodations,
go see the
y'all.
cool ghost over here. I got you.
We
Okay.
get to see the nice ghost at the side of the tour.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Okay,
it was a
Harry.
little awkward introduction with him, but we were flattered. So he gets out of parks the car, and we're going around to the different parts of the location. He takes us around to the three abandoned spots. If anybody's ever been to the Belvoir Winery, it's in Liberty, Missouri. It's a beautiful place. So he takes us around to the three different ruins. One of the places was the morgue. So he's telling us, I've been here before. I mean, I've been here for 17 years. I've dealt with all the people that have come and gone, and all the staff is somehow connected. So me and my brother, we're taking this whole investigation in. We're absorbing everything. We're fascinated that we have our own personal tour guide through the entire facility. So we're like, okay, this is awesome. So we go through the entire location. We get attacked by bats. The morgue has
Bats.
bats. Okay. If you go there at night, be careful because it is
Like, you're talking
infested
in
with
bats,
bats.
like the
Bats, like the little,
bat.
yeah, it's those creatures. It is infested with it. So he kind of warned us a little bit, but he was like, "Hey, there's bats here." He's used to it. So we get in there, bats is coming from all different angles. So we're like dodging. It's
Mm.
all in our video.
Oh, really? We got to see that clip.
Yeah, I'm gonna put the video up very soon. We're still doing the editing on it. But yeah, there's bats everywhere. We're seeing
Were
shadows.
you
And
afraid of the bat?
then he tells us that there is a shapeshifter on the grounds. He said if you sit in one part of the building, you'll see.
Can you say that again? I'm sorry, what?
The shapeshifter. He said there is a shapeshifter on the grounds, and he sees them all the time. Like everybody has seen the shapeshifter. In one part across from the morgue, you'll see this energy turn into like a four-legged animal and run across the field.
My
Everyone
question.
has seen it.
Okay, wait a minute. Were you afraid of the bats? Let me start there first.
I wasn't afraid of the bats. I was afraid of what I thought the bats would do to me and
Which was
attack me. I wasn't afraid of them per se, but once they started congregating around us a little bit, it got a little intimidating. But I wasn't too afraid of them. I just didn't want to get bit. Just didn't want to get bit.
Marie. Before you go any further, we cool. So let
We're
me just
good.
start there. Yeah.
We're good.
And
We're good.
I'm still kind of like a little shocked the fact that we're not even going to take this to a male female thing or ghost
No.
hunt. Here you are, a woman. Okay.
Hmm.
And for our audience, the other women, that's women. I don't know. You go into a graveyard at 1 o'clock at night. You run into some freaking bats.
It was bats.
You run into this weird guy on a little bitty circus car.
It was little, yeah,
And then you run into shapeshifters
shapeshifters. Hmm.
and you still push forward as
I
though this is what I do.
This is what I do. This is my familiarity. So I stayed there. Was I a little afraid? To a certain extent, but I couldn't buckle. I couldn't buckle. I had to continue.
I don't know. I just
But
don't
this
know. I mean, I think it'd be hard to be, in that close knit relationship because I wouldn't go, and my hypocrisy only goes so far. I love what I do, but it
yeah,
only goes so far. You know what? Let me man up. I'll go. But
you
keep
will go.
keep going.
See, if you with me, you good. You'll be fine. I make sure you're good.
Yeah, they're gonna
I
get you
can't
first.
I
Go ahead.
can't
Yeah,
help you with the snakes and the rodents, but and the other energies, I'll help protect you from that. But you
okay.
guys, that wasn't even the most strange part about that investigation. It wasn't the bats, the shapeshifter,
There's more.
the dark shadows that we were seeing and the different corridors of the buildings. That wasn't even the most strange part. They also said that they seen aliens at the Belvoir. They visit that location very frequently. And they seen them. They said they seen the Greys quite often, so that was interesting, and I got that on video as well. But the most interesting part about this entire investigation wasn't any of the ghosts or the entities or the energies or UFOs or any of that. It was the guy that was taking us on the tour. So
Mm.
as me and my brother are getting ready to leave, I give him a copy of my book. We have a little bit of small talk. Me and my brother turn back around to my Jeep because I was getting ready to, pack up a couple things and go into the building. We turn back around and he disappears.
Yeah,
So we're like, okay,
like disappear, like gone.
he's gone. So we're like, were we really talking to somebody?
Oh shit. I mean,
Was
excuse me, sugar
somebody
honey iced tea. Oh my god.
was somebody really with us? Mind you, guys, it was 1 o'clock in the morning, and we're at a freaking 600 graveyard Belvoir winery that used to be a old folks home, a orphanage, a a that has an infirmary up there. It used to have a cafeteria. It has a morgue. Like we're literally on this compound with all of this activity and all this energy. Were we actually talking to a ghost, or was this a real person? So I called up the very next day because I'm like a little baffled because we got him in our video. I had to run the video back just to make sure I saw an actual person.
You think?
So I called the next day and I asked the staff that I said there was a guy that kind of gave us a guide last night, through the compound, and his name was David. He said he worked here before. I mean, he said he worked here. He's been here for umpteen years, and he was getting ready to leave. So they tell me that we used to have a David that worked here a long time ago, but we don't have a David now.
See, this
So
is
I was I was like, okay. Don't you guys have cameras? Don't you have cameras on there on this facility? Can you run back the cameras to see if this individual was in fact a real person or if it was a ghost? We're convinced that he may have been a ghost because we described David verbatim as far as how he looks. And they said that's the David that used to work for us. So I said, okay.
I got a problem already with David. You said David, right? And number one, you gave him a book, you said?
I handed him one of my books.
And see, I
Tangible.
mean, I haven't got mine yet. So I'm like, shit,
David,
we need to
David got a book
David,
before you. David the
David,
ghost.
David got a whole book and just gone. But could you imagine calling to me? Yeah, David died in a whatever
David
5 years ago. You know?
You know, they said he used to work there, but he doesn't work there anymore. He didn't. I didn't. You know what? I didn't even ask if he passed away.
Yeah, that's what Nicole just said. She says
I
David.
didn't even ask
No,
if he passed away.
see this kind of stuff, and David got jokes if he pulling up in this little tiny car. Yeah, David.
It was so awkward because his lights was off. There was no. We didn't even hear the car. it just kind of like appeared down the drive.
Right, right, right,
So
right, right.
it was weird. I mean, did they say that David passed on, or that I didn't even ask about if he passed on or not. I
Right,
just
right,
said,
right.
did you have a David on? Do you have a David on staff that works security at night? And they said we had a David, but then they never confirmed if he passed on. And I guess that's a question I'm going to ask tomorrow. Now that I'm thinking
I
about
wouldn't
it,
go. I wouldn't ask the question.
I'm
It was no
going
need
to ask.
to.
I'm going
Uh,
to take that video up there and let him watch it.
JJ says was the car an apparition or something, but
It could have been because
honestly,
everything disappeared. So
because you
we're
know,
like, okay, this is interesting.
see here the part of that would have been, and we'll and we're going to get into our conversation would have been, where Roderick too, because my would have been gone. And you know what? Maybe I don't want everybody to think I'm some wuss or nothing. So, don't worry about all that. But I just think that there is a huge disconnect, and that goes back down to if we wasn't here in this channel, if you was telling this story to a family, friend, or somebody, and this goes back now, would they believe it or not? Right?
Yeah.
Because, and that's why I wanted to know, is it more believable to believe in ghosts or more believe in aliens, and where would that be if there's something I don't know. And I think when I look at it from growing up, I will start out saying, of course, I've always believed in or thought about ghosts since I was could walk, because that's you hear
Yeah.
that first, and then you start hearing, okay, aliens, what the heck is that?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know. So what was the outcome?
Yeah. So we had an amazing. We got a lot of stuff on footage. I'm gonna wait to release the video, and then the next time we come on here, then I'll let you show some of the footage to the viewers on live, and it'll be on my YouTube channel. But we got a lot of stuff on video.
And that's Ghost Link TV is a YouTube channel. So y'all make
Ghostlink
sure,
TV.
y'all
Yeah,
make sure
it'll
y'all
be on
subscribe
Ghostlink
to that.
TV. So we got a lot of documented footage. We got the bats. We got the dark shadows. Some of our equipment went off in certain areas of the field. So it was a pretty amazing investigation, and David just added more icing onto it. But it was amazing. But when it comes to people believing that ghosts or more believable and active than extraterrestrials or aliens. I think ever since we were younger and culturally, we have been conditioned of the transition from a human form to a spirit form. So that ghost understanding has been instilled in us since we were young. We weren't instilled in us, that there were aliens, or
Mm.
that there were extraterrestrials. We weren't trained that or taught that when we were in Bible study class. So the expectation of ghosts being more prevalent over aliens is a conditioning factor. It's a cultural conditioning factor that has gone on for centuries. So now they're starting to unveil all of these other beings, all of these other forces that exist outside of what we were taught to understand as specific versions of truth. So now people are starting to adopt the ideology that these other things are, probably more pre-existing than what we were taught initially growing up in our culture.
See, I got a different approach. I think that
Yeah.
I
Trying
think
to get
really the ghosts don't give a damn. They want to be seen. They're trying to come
yeah.
back. Extraterrestrials, on the other hand, are trying not to be seen. And so one on the hand is like, okay, we got a little higher intelligence. They can't handle this. And the ghost is all, and like you said, most of them don't know they dead anyway.
Yeah.
And so at this point, they're just trying to be seen. Like, can you see me? You see me? No, I don't. You
Because
know,
they're,
yeah.
'cause they're stuck in this warp, as I call it. And you know they do tend to make themselves more present, and I look at aliens more like, I guess, more cognitively like us, as far as the way that they their operation, the
Mm.
way that they their evolution of them, they operate in the same mental construct as us. So I could see
You
them
talking about the
trying
ghosts?
to avoid being.
Oh, you talking about the ETs? Yeah,
I'm talking about, yeah, I'm talking about extraterrestrials.
yeah.
I can see them trying to avoid being noticed because they're operating under the same mental construct as us as humans, and how we're operating and how we're developing, and all of the technology and things that we're um, accustomed to. So I could see them kind of being a little bit more lateral with us, as opposed to ghosts being in this completely different realm that is stuck in between a world of transition,
Hmm.
and extraterrestrials having that direct connection, and that synchronization to us, and them trying to figure out how to balance as a unit. So
I don't.
this is
I
like all
just.
the other.
I think extraterrestrials are cooler than ghosts. Then that's
I
about it. You know what I'm saying?
can't even say that they're not. I told you once before that if I had the choice to be taken by a ghost or an alien, I'm going with the alien. I
That's
want to go on a new
you
adventure.
talk to freaking ghosts. You know, they ain't go. There's no good.
I would.
There's no fun in that. You want to go
I
to the mystery.
mean,
And for
I want.
me, now on the other hand, because I know they're gonna probe you for sure. You, I'm letting you
They gonna
know
probe me. Just go right in there.
they gonna probe your ass. I'm telling you, they going in. They gonna get
Hey,
curious.
they're gonna
They gonna
probe
get.
me. They're gonna impregnate me.
They
Like,
gonna get curious with you. I'm letting you know. Now I'd
man,
rather go ahead and go with the ghost because
I'm going with it.
we gonna have a
I'm,
conversation. I see because I know extraterrestrials. Yeah,
I'm so going with the extraterrestrials.
I'm telling you.
Maybe they'll, maybe they'll look at me as, like, hey, she's kind of like us because she has a different little ability. So we're not going to probe her like we do the other humans. We're making an exception for her.
Well, if you sit there with them and start telling them you see dead ETs, they're gonna send your ass back.
They're going to drop me back down to the ground like defective,
You'll be back over here in
defective,
no time. And like, no, we can't deal with that. We're not gonna deal with that. But
defective
that's
device.
I know, right? And I think it's one of those deals where um, I watched a movie, and actually I'm part of this show where they're doing reviews on paranormal or UFO paranormal movies, and so they added me to one of their co-hosts, and so those will be starting to air pretty soon. And one of the shows we did today was The Forgotten. I don't know if any of y'all seen it. Anybody seen that? It was out in 2004, so I know some of you youngsters that's we almost 20 years ago. So yeah, we count you out. But I'm saying,
Count me out.
yeah,
Was of age.
you could not stay up late to watch that movie.
I was 18.
Okay, well, all right. You was 18. Yeah, you okay? You good? Okay. All right. So you was 18, no problem. So we now know your age. So the whole point, I'm 17 plus 3. I mean, yeah, plus 3 plus 30 plus 2. Y'all can figure that out. Add all that stuff
Do
together.
all that math.
You mathematicians. But what I'm saying is that movie, The Forgotten. Anybody seen it in the audience? Forgotten. Julian Moore. It was in 2004, and this thing, y'all got to go back and watch it when you get a chance, and it would freak you out. And it was, about extraterrestrials and some of the things that they were doing and experiments on humans. They had this
Mm,
experiment. Great movie, crazy, but I'm not going to get into it. I encourage you, but it was the movie. You thought ghosts, you thought
yes.
extraterrestrials, and let me forewarn all of you benevolent people that they're come in peace. That movie ain't got nothing to do with that. These dudes were serious about their experiments with us. And so now you will get a different opinion. So when it comes down to people believing this phenomenon, so like you said, you're talking about growing up with ghosts and everything else. And you said that in where y'all went the other day, people saying they saw aliens there too.
Yep. Yep.
And they said it was grays, you
They
said?
said they were grays.
I
So
wonder
I
what's
said, why would they be
why would
so
grays
attracted
be yeah, why would they be at a graveyard?
at right? So, and I was having a conversation with David, and I'm like, why would they be so attracted to this area? Is it because it's so much energy here and that it's fuel? And mind you, Belvoir sits on several acres. So there's a lot of land behind the actual structures,
Mm.
behind the graveyards. So I'm wondering why this location is attracting them, because they're saying they frequent here. So he's like, if you sit here at certain times of the morning and you just be completely quiet, you will see them. They will present themselves.
The Grays.
So the grays.
Okay,
So
well
I
now,
said,
then where is this
I'm going
place?
to have to
I'm
go
coming.
back and do another
Well, I'm
investigation
going with
just
you.
to see that.
I'm going with you.
You will go with me?
Yeah, yeah. You said some aliens there, right?
The aliens.
That's what I
Yes.
do. That's
That,
me.
wait,
That's where I
listen.
come in and I got this. You
I'll
know,
make sure David's there.
get out the way, ghost hunter. I got this. This is my thing now.
It's cool. David will
Move,
guide
get
us.
out the way, get out the way. You know what I'm saying? I got this.
Get out the way.
Yeah, I got this. This is my thing. I'm up now.
Yeah.
I'm in the
Yeah.
game. Get
Yeah.
me off the bench, coach.
Take
Yeah,
you off the vent.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. I
So, but
definitely
yeah,
want to try.
that they said it's very interesting the different things that have people have experienced and seen. David said he's seen all of them. He's seen the grays, the shapeshifters, the ghosts, the shadows. He's seen just about everything.
See, now that goes back to when you and I started this journey. If there's any connection between ghost and
Yeah.
everything else, and it comes back to that poltergeist type movie. Even Nicole is saying it now. It could be a portal there. It could be
Yes.
portal where they that's where they're going through, and that's probably where
Yeah.
he went back with his little car. You know,
Mm.
yeah, it
Great.
disappeared.
He disappeared. He did his job. Connected the dots, and he
Well, he was
vanished.
shocked. He was shocked to see a black ghost on her. So he was like, "Shit, what the heck? What the?"
What is it?
And so he come out and checking this situation out. Like I would have
Yeah.
done it too. I was like, "Black ghost." The first day we met, like, black ghost on her. Or,
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
seen Stranger Things. I was like, "Okay, no problem. We can go there."
Maybe David is an alien, Nicole. Maybe he is.
David was a
There's
ghost.
so many different things that experience rose so my radars went off. I'm
Listen,
like, there's something going
aliens,
on.
aliens abduct, ghosts don't. He was a ghost.
That's a great point. That's
Yeah,
a really good point.
he was a
But
ghost.
but, but ghosts do have the ability to take over a person's body. Would that be the same as abducting them?
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. All right. Well,
It's a different form of
no,
abduction.
I wouldn't say it would be. I never thought about that. Would that
Mm-hmm.
be a form of abduction if someone? No, that's called an exorcist or something. That's got a name. They got a name for that, right?
Mm-hmm. But I mean, if you take control of a person's body, literally,
You're the puppet master. Possession.
yeah, because if you abduct them, you're taking control of them, right?
Okay, but aliens, Nicole,
Mm.
P-Tech says possession. They're possessing you,
Yeah.
and
So do they
oh,
do they
so
not do the same thing with aliens? Don't they possess you to a certain degree?
hell no, no, don't
Okay,
think
so they just take you
they
and
take
they
you.
don't like
No, they take you and then they poke you like see.
then they
You
put you
getting
under
there?
some kind of like suppressive state, right? And you're
They
not coherent, or
they
are you
poking
coherent?
you.
Are
They
you still in your own consciousness
You're
when you
still in
get
your own conscious. Most people report back that the Greys try to tell them, "Hey, we friendly. Don't worry about this. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt." But and yeah, look at that. Okay, you still want to go, and so they from some experiences, people are conscious when they meet them, and then they come back in our realm or time, and they got loss of time. They have loss of, all of this in some cases. But when they do begin to recall that experience, most people can feel and remember the pain or what they went through.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so
So they have that remembrance of that moment, that conscious remembering.
mhm, yeah, and
So
so yeah,
JJ, you said Marie, they possess your mind. Are you talking about aliens
or ghosts.
or ghosts?
No, I think we have some dumb ghosts because my uncle Charlie, he was crazy dumb, so he wouldn't be able to.
There's always some
Yeah,
challenged form in every type of existing or being or living
agreed.
living creature. There's always that stupid one. You got it. I think you have to have a very intelligent ghosts, the ones that
Yeah.
are very very smart. Then you got the low level ones. There's always like a
So let's
order
let's
of
get,
operation.
let's get into we're talking today in society where we got congressional hearings, um, about UFOs, the phenomenon itself. Ghosts been around a long time. Is there a reason, in your perspective, why it's not a news thing? Why there's no fundings besides
Hmm.
Skinwalker Ranch, and all those things? But there is no true the push now for disclosure of UFOs. There is no push saying we need to disclose is ghosts
Yes.
real. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that that goes back to a little bit what I was saying earlier. It was normalized in early on that
Mhm.
these entities, these beings, this spiritual transition existed. So it wasn't like it wasn't like a roadblock of surprises that led up to this big announcement or release of these beings. So that's why I believe that there's not so much um broadcasting of ghosts being in different locations. There's ghost sightings or anything like that as there is opposed to aliens, because this is something that's kind of, they've covered this up. They wanted us to believe that there was this wasn't real, this was a figment of our imagination. These things had an explanation for why they were hovering in the sky, because they were connected to other things that were man-made. We
Mm.
weren't conditioned that when it came to ghosts. We were conditioned to learn and understand that they're going to exist, and they exist in specific forms, and that this is the form of this is the normality. Ghosts are normal. This Seeing a ghost is okay because grandpa passed on, and this is grandpa's ghost. So we knew that, we had that early on understanding, as opposed to extraterrestrials being something that they're just like, okay, guess what, take everything that we lied to you about, ball it up, and here's the truth. Now you guys know that there are the things that go on and transpire outside of what we told you was this version of truth. Now it's a big woo.
Hmm.
Let's figure out.
You know your shit.
Hmm.
I wasn't ready for him.
Okay. Well, I mean,
You
it's
getting creative with those.
yeah, no problem. I think that it's on more of a serious note now. We'll change
Yeah.
it up a little bit. Okay, so when you run into people, just like we do, there is a mental aspect of this, and people are not just taken surprised by this phenomena, but there are people that are truly dealing with uh, this, mental issues when it comes
Yeah.
mental health when it comes down to it. Do you encounter that, or are there hospitals in your area where you would go as a ghost hunter and talk to people who are actually in there because this mental block that or not block or the issues they having because they saw a ghost versus what we
Mm.
have today where people who had UFO encounters are getting brain damage. There's just so much, and then even in the civilian side of things or our everyday society, there's just people who just cannot deal with this thing, and it's a problem. So, are you do you ever encounter that?
Yeah. So they're starting to develop these facilities a lot more, and these support groups, as they call them, or these spiritual circles, as they call them, so people can come together and talk about their experiences. There isn't an actual facility per se where people um can, like drug rehab facilities. I am Marie and I am a drinker, or something like that.
Right,
They
right.
don't have those facilities per se, but they're starting to develop a lot of support groups, which I'm very happy about, and they're becoming more and more diverse. So a lot of people from various cultures are starting to come together and share their experiences of having ghost encounters or different um encounters with other phenomena, and express it. More so back in the earlier days, they didn't understand how to deal with people who were having these experiences on a regular basis. So they would medicate them because they felt like they were tapping outside of their emotional norm. So they would medicate them and label them having psychological issues, and then institutionalize them
But you can't.
because of
It's like counterintuitive because the medications are almost like mushrooms. Is making them high. They're gonna see them anyway.
it.
You know,
So
they
you're
go into that
that
thing.
yeah that mental that mental state of
Yeah,
fog, and it causes you to have more issues than the one you're getting rid of. So
yeah.
a lot of these medications that they're giving these psychiatric patients are causing them to have psychiatric issues, depression, starting to see things, and it's crazy because I think it's allowing them to tap in that other consciousness that we're forced to lay dormant within ourselves, that allows us to see these other um aspects of life. So but yeah, there's a lot of developing of support groups and spiritual circles, spiritual congregations. Some churches are starting to have a little bit more discussion about ghosts than before. You know, I was exposed to Baptist church growing up. That was where we that was our denomination, Baptist church. And we didn't talk about us having encounters with ghosts. That was
Mm.
like a taboo thing. We didn't have that. Now there's some churches here that are saying, "Have you experienced ghosts?" You know, we can talk about it during Bible study and see how it correlates and connects with the Bible. And they're starting incorporating more. But back in the earlier days, you were automatically labeled and medicated.
Are you familiar with the Stardust Ranch in Arizona? JJ has
Mm,
mentioned that. That's supposed to be like a place where, almost like a skinwalker, where they have ghosts and all of that stuff. So you might want to. Travel
I'm a-
Channel did some stuff on that a while back, I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
Also, aliens possess the mind, ghosts possess the vessel. So it's still possession on both angles. It's just different parts of that person that get possessed, but they still possess.
I don't know. I watched the movie The
Thank you,
Forgotten. I'm
JJ.
telling you, y'all need to check it out. The aliens was doing an experiment on humans to see if we can forget. Just let y'all know. They was doing an
Hmm.
experiment. So they took this woman's baby, a child, and wiped her memory or tried, and then everybody around them to make sure if they can test, can they make this whole thing don't exist?
Hmm.
Um, and it was an experiment, and it was
Hmm.
kind of weird because our government was in on it, and it was like,
Sounds typical.
yeah, but they were saying, well, it's for survivor. The government can say they can do whatever they want to do, like the aliens, extraterrestrials were in total control, and they were able to wipe memories, play with our memories, alter our reality, making okay, this was here, it is not. And it's so funny because this movie was done in 2004, and now we have
Hmm.
this stuff now today. They're saying it actually happens, and
Hmm.
so I thought that was pretty crazy. So I'm telling y'all now, check the movie out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the forgotten.
The
Um,
Forgotten. It is. It
that
Yeah, takes you for a
that's
loop.
interesting. Yeah, and then, you know what? I like I said before, they have spoon fed us little tad bits of information about what is actually
Mhm.
going on in our world. Because if you watch the movies are kind of like an introduction of the truth. So you watch Men in Black, right? Which is
Mhm.
similar to the movie Forgotten, where they wipe your mind clear. They have that little device,
Yeah,
and
they had that little.
everybody stands there and they click it, and
Yeah,
everything is
I got
erased.
I got one of those, by the way.
I want one of those.
Yeah.
This is my simulation. And they
Everything.
wipe everything clear, and then they have these creatures living among us that are average, ordinary, have regular jobs, look like regular human beings with their defects, obviously, but they're living amongst us. But they're
Well,
trying to
and it's
keep
funny
it
you say
under.
that because in the movie Forgotten, that was it. The aliens look
Mhm.
exactly like us
Yeah,
in clothing and everything, except when you
yeah,
run over them by a car and they get up in the movie. You get what I'm saying? But
yeah, yeah.
so it goes back to all of this thinking. We're thinking the little grays. We're thinking all of this, and it is a true testament that they walk among us, and ghosts do it too,
Yeah,
right? Only
yeah.
problem I have with the ghost is they always in the same place. If they died
They
there, they're stuck
they
there.
tend to stay.
And why
And
is that, by the way?
And you know what? And here's another interesting thing. I
Mm.
went to, you guys may have heard of the Sally House in Atchison, Kansas,
Yeah. Okay.
about the little girl that they believe is haunting the house because she died on the surgery table by a physician that lives there, that
Mm.
lived there. So that was the alleged story. But after doing so much research, oh man, I did an immense amount of research on the area. I did an immense amount of research on the different things that were there prior to the construction of houses in that entire section, and it made more sense to me why a lot of times ghosts are so connected to one location. So at the Sally House, I did a documentary with a paranormal group, and the information that I found out about that territory dates back to the early 1700s, when the natives were in that location before it even became Atchison, Kansas. The continent natives were the ones who were the original natives to that territory, and there was a burial ground, and the way that the Native Americans did their burials was so unique. So if
Mm.
anyone is a history buff and they know a little bit about the Native American rituals and the Native American burials, they believed that their spirit lived on. And what they did to allow their spirit to live on was these ritualistic practices. So the chiefs, when they would die or when they were in the process of death, they would kind of like encapsulize themselves in these
Okay.
stone graves that were like 10 by 20 feet,
But
20 feet wide, 10
but
feet
it
wide.
goes back to Egyptians did it.
Yeah, and they did it too. And
Yeah.
that the connections are just so similar. So not only did they put these burial grounds, this burial ground, and they would sit inside of it and they would wrap themselves in cloth, kind of like mummifying themselves.
Like the
And then they
Egyptians.
would sit there and they would die in a certain position so that way their spirit can be tied to their last resting place and they could live on. So I found it to be interesting because I did locate some information and some things in the back of the house that gave credibility to my research. And
Now what was that?
the actual, if you go into the back of the house, the 20 foot by 10 feet wide is there. The stone is there in the back of the house, and I'm almost 100% sure that was the area where the chiefs would actually sit there and let themselves die, and that's where they were buried, and they just built
Wow.
on top of it. So and I think it's starting to kind of like unveil itself over time as the land starts to erode and things start to kind of wash away with the weather and the flooding, and it's starting to become more visible. So when those grave sites are disturbed like that, those burial sacred grave sites are disturbed, it causes a spiritual disruption in that entire area. So that's why I couldn't understand. I said, how is this house getting more activity than the houses that are adjacent to it? I don't understand. But once I did the research, I understood it a lot more. Maybe the way that that person died, or what was tied to, or the ritualistic way in that they were buried, or some form ties them so intimately to that location only, to where their spirit is dormant in that one spot. Can it evolve and go to different houses? I, you know, sometimes people don't know that they're like slaves didn't know that they were free because they couldn't read, and then they just were kind of ignorant to what they were able to do. Maybe they're in that ignorant state to where they don't know, realize that they are able to move outside of this location that they were stagnant to.
Yeah, that's the only part that get me because all of it's like who really knows everything because all the books
Yeah,
and then you look at all the movies and this is that term haunted house because
yeah,
we don't have that situations with extraterrestrials and everything else and I'm still like again I'm a UFO investigator researcher I do those things I'm still looking to find when we talk about extraterrestrial experiences we still haven't talked about a group of them. We ain't see a hundreds of them coming over here messing with folks. It's always one or two, and it's almost
yeah.
thinking, how many is it? How many really is it? Actually, a alien civilization somewhere?
Hmm.
Um, you know, even though I'm just kind of taking this left from what you're saying, but it just all of these little things where there's a location for ghosts. There's is there a location for extraterrestrials? And then if that's the case, do the extraterrestrials die and have ghosts too? That
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah. Do they have ghosts? That's a good question.
and then we just had a show yesterday, or I did it Tuesday night. and that thing has already got like almost 26,000 views within 2 days. You know, the question then goes back to even like the Vatican is now saying, "Well, okay, wait a minute, you know, if ET show up now, then they are childs of God too." Okay, so now we're getting ready to normalize this experience. But I'd be
Yeah.
damned if somebody now saying ghosts are child of gods again, or would they were because we were living, or how do we now accept it as
Hmm.
normal, like we're trying to accept extraterrestrial life as normal?
Hmm.
And maybe I'm just not even making sense. But I do have some smart people, you know, besides you, that bags me up. And they're not bagging me up right now. They leave me like I'm walking a
I'm
plank.
leaving you in there.
Oh, I'm out there by myself right now. I am really out there. And
And that's a good question though. Do extraterrestrials have spirits after they die? And like what conditions would
well,
they have to die
now
during?
now here's the point. I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but I'm asking the right person.
Well,
You talk to ghosts. I mean, have you ever seen a gray ghost or a ET ghost, or you know what I'm saying?
I've I've never seen I've saw a extraterrestrial ship hovering over me when I was a child,
Mm,
but I've never actually seen
could have been
an
a ghost ship.
alien. I saw the ship.
Could be a ghost ship, right? We have that
It could be
terminology.
a ghost ship.
Yeah.
Could very
Could be
well be a
a ghost
ghost ship.
ship. Yeah.
Could be a ghost ship. And
I don't know.
that's so interesting. And that's going to be another compound of research in the connections that we bridge together with this information and these testimonies that people have with their experiences. That's definitely going to help fill the gaps of information. But it's just so it seems like there's a continuous energy, there's continuous evolution of energy with these beings, these entities, these ghosts, whatever we want to title them as. I think it just recycles itself in a different form. I think it's infinite sometimes.
Got a question for you. Check it out. It's
Okay.
on screen. You see it? Oh, I need to tell you.
Yeah.
It
No.
says, Marie, are you alone right now? That's
No.
from Dinah.
uh Two reasons why I'm not alone. No, I'm not alone because I got other people in the house.
I was going to say that. Somebody just went to the refrigerator. So yeah, okay, that's fine. But I know she mean the other way
Like as
around
far
here.
as
Yeah. Yeah.
no, I'm not alone. And I know a lot of people wonder, have you done an investigation on your own house? Yes. I've done an investigation on my own house. I've done an investigation across the street at the neighbor's house, in this neighbor's house. And I have 4 ghosts in my house.
Oh
I have
shit.
3 in my
See, hell no. I'm not even. See, this is the
but
point.
they're energy
This
ones. If you don't know what
energy
the energy
one. Oh, so
levels
now we
are,
got levels in this thing
yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
shit.
There's levels to this.
Oh, so see, we don't have that. We don't have ET1, ET2,
But
ET3.
well,
Oh no, we do,
I
we
had
do. We got CE5, C. We do have levels. Matter of fact, we do.
you
Yeah,
do you
yeah,
do have
yeah.
she said that.
Well, well,
So
I'm
I
just,
have,
I don't know, put it at that, but dang,
and I actually documented the activity that's in my house. I was very delicate with doing it at first because I have children that live
do they
here.
pay rent?
Uh, they don't, unfortunately. They're just my broke best friends right now that take up space in my room.
See, this is the thing that I don't know. I think you handle it so well. I mean, you really do because I. It's like you know when somebody comes over and you say, "Hey, I just want y'all to
I
know that,"
don't tell them.
you don't tell them.
I don't tell them. I would be so unsettling to tell somebody, okay, I just want you to know before you go in the bathroom and you think you see something, there's ghosts. That's that I don't tell them. I'll tell them if they ask. Only if they ask. I'll keep it real with them.
So you telling
Because
me
you
I come over there and visit your house
yes.
and I go and get into the bathroom and I'm about
Yes.
to really sit down on the throne and play king
Get comfortable.
and get comfortable. And all of a sudden I see a ghost. And I got, since I'm in there for one thing, but now,
You're
oh,
trapped.
oh sugar honey iced tea for real, right?
Yeah.
You wouldn't tell me when we cool like that?
I would only tell you if you ask because
Who?
Okay, for those who know or familiar with the way that I identify the
Well, now I
different
get
entities,
it because Diana,
right?
Diana is perfectly would have came into your house and just said, "Hey, are anybody in here?" Like she just did naturally. See, I didn't even think of that, you know.
Hmm.
So, but
And
I,
I'll tell you, if you ask me, like I don't tell a lot of people about, if you haven't seen me on commercials or whatever, I don't come up to you and tell you I'm a ghost hunter because it's a very very long dialogue we're gonna have about that.
you think?
So when people come to my house, I don't tell them about the ghosts that are here. They have
Yeah,
to at least they don't eat you out of the house. No, they don't. I actually like them.
JJ. Well, Diana said at least they don't eat you out of house and
Yeah.
home, and then JJ said at least you're in the right room to sugar honey iced tea, Roderick.
Pun intended, JJ.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's one of those
Yeah,
deals. I
but
think it's Nike says, "Who is that standing next to you?" See,
you?
that, it's got to be me. Oh, he's talking maybe somebody who just walked by. I don't know what he's saying,
Oh,
but
okay.
I don't think he means that at all.
You gotta. Who are you talking about, Nikki?
No, this is Nike.
Nike? Oh,
Nike.
Nike McCoy.
Yeah, Nike McCoy. It's a
Okay.
friend of mine.
Are
He's a
you
friend of mine.
referring to my
He's also
house?
one of my new business associates. We're doing some things together. So,
Oh, okay.
well, we're gonna launch this thing. That's that little device that checks your energy. I was telling everybody about. So, but go ahead.
Hmm. Um, you got me thinking. I'm like, oh, Marie, huh? Well, I got people here, Nike. There's people here. Unless you're talking about the ghost that my sister sees every time we FaceTime.
What?
There's a ghost.
Why you hold it back?
I can't. Well, Nike brought it up, so now it's an open discussion because Nike activated it. So
You know
now
what? I don't.
that's the ghost opening the fridge. That's my mom.
Okay. Well, well, the people think they see a ghost in your house.
No, not those. Unless you have that additional sense. Well, that's a brother.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Unless you
yeah.
have that additional.
Yeah, those are
It's
real
okay.
people, y'all. Those are real,
Those are real
real
people.
people.
Okay, those are actually real living human beings.
Yeah, those are real
So
people.
the and one day I will give you the audio, the not the audio, but the video footage, so that way you can show all the viewers what I had been hiding in my bedroom.
Sonya said, "Tell your brother hello."
Norman,
Yeah, she's like, "Tell your
Sonia
brother hello."
says hi.
Yeah.
He's 6 foot tall, single, has a great job.
But there you go, great plug. Look, everybody talk about hungry ghosts. You got some hungry ass ghosts over
I
there.
do.
So they're
Oh
raiding the
God,
fridges.
the
Yeah.
woman. Oh
Yeah.
God.
Somebody said the
Uh,
woman queen Marie Jackson is
ah,
so gorgeous. I'm so in
ah,
love with your love handles or something.
I did not say
No,
love
he
him,
did not say that.
but
Okay.
if he did,
If he
I
did,
would
that's okay.
say
All right.
thank
So,
you, Oscar.
but that go again. That just goes down to you know, I found a lot of pride in telling people I'm a UFO investigator. In fact, my license plate
Yeah.
it says it. My Texas license plate. And every now and then I get somebody come up to me and like, is that real? Is that true? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and so when I roll, everybody know one of
Yeah.
those things. Look, somebody talk about how old is he? I'm single too,
Hey,
girl.
Marie, will you marry me, please? How old is my brother? Oh, he is 35.
All right. So girl from the Bay, I think she's 20, 31. See, we doing some, you know
Yes.
what? We gotta wait for a minute. She ain't pre-qualifying this guy. So do he believe in ghosts? Just because he's
Who?
your brother, just because he's
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, my brother believes in ghosts. He believes in extraterrestrials. He believes in just about any phenomena that people say are out there.
okay.
And plus, he was there when we lived in the haunted house growing up. He was a part of that.
No, okay then.
So
Well,
it's kind of hard not to when you're
Nicole told
exposed
me
to it.
there's a lot of love connections tonight. She says
I
he's
know,
perfect.
Nicole.
She's
Look,
29.
I
She's
think one
perfect.
of us is getting married. Somebody said two girls is taking my brother on a date.
Okay, well, shoes. All right. Well, then you got two proposals already.
I do got two proposals.
Yeah, yeah.
What is a girl to do? What's a girl who
Talk about ghosts. Tell when you were sitting next to the man,
yeah.
and then you look at him and say, just want you to know your ex girlfriend's mother, who has passed on, is sitting right here,
Oh
and she
man.
is not happy with this arrangement. You know what
See,
I'm saying? I mean
just
that. Yeah.
see that's those are so awkward conversations. But they're starting to become fun now that I've gotten
Okay.
over this whole taboo mentality.
Gotcha.
They're becoming more interesting to weed out people that are like disinterested off the bat. JJ says, Marie, does those that live with you have experiences with the ghosts that live with you? If so, are they positive or yes? Just about everyone that lives with me has had an experience with the ghost.
With the ones that live with you, those
Yes.
ghosts that's there.
hmm With the ghosts that actually are in my home, and they are positives. Again, I rate the levels of the ghost, the energy levels 1 to 4, and these are energy ones, which means they're not harmful. They don't knock stuff over, but they are very much present. But
Okay,
they're
so if they did begin to start messing around, how would you get them out?
huh. First thing I would have to do is find out what it is I'm dealing with, and if it's even possible to get them out. Because there are some. I always say to everybody, say sage your house and raise up your windows, and you'll get rid of the energies. Some of those energies are tied to that location for a reason, and there's nothing that you can do to get them out. So if I was to find out that there was like an energy 4 here, I'm moving.
Energy 4.
F energy 4, which is
You
the
skip 2 and 3. So what's going
yeah, I
on?
went straight to, if there was an energy 4 here,
4 is like Poltergeist, the movie.
yes,
Shit, that's
I'm moving.
that's
Because
all.
there's I can get them out. They're tied to something that might be predated to where before this house was built. This is a 20-year-old house. So yeah, I'm not. Are the ghosts attached to your home or to the land? Good question.
Well, I mean,
They are attached to the land.
okay, yeah, because if I had a mobile home, they ain't moving with me.
Exactly. They're attached to the land. And
Yeah.
where I live at is an area, this is new construction here. But it also is a part of a plantation that used to be here as well. So there's a lot of unmarked, unpreserved burial grounds that are scattered out through this entire area. So I had to do a lot of research
Hmm.
on my entire state. But this location where I'm at, fortunately, because my neighbors, they experience activity. My neighbor across the street, she's got all kinds of stuff. I think she's got energy 2s and energy 3s in her home.
But see
Um,
now, okay, so now we're dealing with a whole neighborhood,
yeah,
and so now when you get back to this is why I think even with the UFO experience, extraterrestrials, the CE5, the consciousness, you got shadow people, you got it's just you got so much, and then you bring it
yeah,
back home to Native Americans, and so we look into Skinwalker Ranch, and but you go
yeah,
back to Egyptians, they tied their pharaohs and all that was mummified,
yeah,
with whatever reason. And of course, when you see the movies and all of that stuff, and I just think that for me, I really think that us as humans, the species, and who we are, is it's the Matrix movie just may be real.
yeah,
We're just in this construct, and whatever's happening, or do anybody know? Because I never you talk to dead people, but I ain't have nobody come back from the dead. In fact, I don't want to put you on a spot because my next question would be, why the dead people are they talking about? Is there a heaven and hell? Right. So we don't have to get in that. We might have some religious people here
that's,
that'll blow their coop. But the whole point is, um, all of these conversations are pretty deep. And so I'm watching movies now, I'm studying this, and it's like now you can believe anything.
yeah,
I believe in magic now, right? And although we know it's just all about tricks of getting you to focus over here, but it's crazy.
yeah, yeah. It's like I said, they're spoon feeding us so much information about people's own personal testimonies, eyewitness testimonies, things that we we see, we've experienced, and they're putting it in movies because they got to get these ideas from somewhere. These concepts have to come
Absolutely.
from somewhere, somebody's dream, somebody's experience or something. So they've been developed from something. So like the poltergeist movies, that stuff is so real. That is so real because I went through it. So, but the display of it wasn't like what I went through, like me and my family, but the experience was the same. So it's so interesting.
I feel special. Really not that I'm special because I saw a UFO when I was 12, but just to know that I didn't go through, and I might have went through some ghostly stuff and didn't know it. Growing up, it just be normal noises, or you hear stuff in the house, or all of those things. Now, make sure you guys like the video. If you have not had an opportunity, you've been here, smash the like button. You find any value in the show tonight, and you want to provide any kind of support, there's a link at the bottom, Cash App, everything else. We do try to provide some content for you, and give you a heads up. It's about to be real. We got a lot of new stuff that's coming, that you guys going to be really happy about as well, from there. So, uh, you know, back to the fight or the debate that I wanted to have in the beginning, who or what, which is more believable. I think, like you said, the ghost theory has been around a long time, or the
Yeah.
issue, the apparitions, or whatever you want to call them. Um, and of course, this UFO thing has always been this mystical world, because we're talking about life that don't
Mhm.
look like us, that exist in other places, and so deeply that Dr. Nolan the other day said octopuses now, because they're so smart, could be now flying spacecrafts. Okay. And I didn't deny it, because you start thinking everybody's talking about, I seen mantis beings, or I seen reptilians, and
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
so all of this stuff. So, is there any reptilian ghost?
JJ just asked a question. He said, "Have you ever tried to make a conscious connection with another life form that isn't a ghost?" And I actually have, because I believe, just from doing so much research and researching the
Mhm.
different cultural understandings and belief systems and structures, I truly believe that um, there is a ghost transition form in other creatures. And it's could I be talking to an actual ghost of a crocodile instead of ghost of a human?
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
interesting. It's really interesting. I have actually tried to connect telepathically with other beings.
Uh-oh. I think the ghost didn't want that story out. Did we lose Marie? All right, we're gonna see. Hang on, let me until we get her back in a minute. All right, so anyway, we lost Marie just for a second, so we will, okay, she is back now. Let me
The connection just that was like a good face frame.
well, it's like
so
that.
so that freeze frame was awesome. But I have tried to connect. Can you guys hear me okay? Because I know the connection just kind of went away a little bit.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
I mean, in
So
fact, we
I
hear
have
you.
tried
I mean,
to connect telepathically
yeah.
to other beings. And I feel like I'm able to have that connection stronger when I'm dreaming. And astral projection, and all those who are familiar with that realm of transition, I feel like I have those connections telepathically with other beings, but in the actual human form, I'm able to connect with the ghost beings. Now, the ghost beings, ghosts of other creatures outside of humans, possibly, which is another thing that we can have a completely platform of discussion on. But it's interesting
You
because I'm
like this stuff,
still
don't
I
you? You
love
like
it.
you like this shit, honey. I see, don't you?
I love it.
Yeah, you like it. I see it just
I
telling
love
you.
it. I'm such a nerd at it too. I
No, you
once
past that.
when I find information about
You
one thing and
nerd
then
is E1. You're probably E7, whatever that.
yeah, I can say I'm up there. I'm a higher tier for sure. I love it. I could research about it all day, and then truth a version of truth gives an explanation for another version of truth or a version of information.
That's the technical
It's
term.
like,
You just that should be another street term for what you just said.
well, it should be. We should come up with one.
We're gonna have to. 'Cause, I mean, other than that, I try to keep it PG, but you just like that sugar honey iced tea, and
I was not.
then you became a ghost hunter. You liked it first, then you
Yeah,
became a ghost hunter.
but
Yeah.
see, I experienced it.
Okay.
Then I learned to appreciate and like it. Then I researched it. Then I became a ghost hunter.
Yeah.
Or
See.
I call myself an energy hunter now. I hunt for energy.
Oh, well, okay. Well, I guess your industry just like ours. UFOs now is UAPs. Everybody's trying to change it. So
They
ghost is
are.
ghost, aliens is aliens, ghost is ghost. Period.
Well, you just want to keep it distinguished and independently. Is that what it is?
I want to call a duck is a duck.
You want
Period.
to just call it what it is?
I want to call it what it is, not make this stuff up, not trying to go back and change it. But I do use the word UFOs a lot now because there is an inherent millions of people who don't associate with the term UAP because even though it's new, the mystique and everything, still the mysterious in the word of UFOs is a lot more powerful in our
It
in our field than the word UAPs. So if I walked up to you and hey babe, what's up? I'm a UAP researcher. You'd be like, what the hell are you talking about? You work for UPS? You'd be like, you work for UPS. Now if I come up and say, yeah, I am, I'm a UFO hunter and investigator. You know what that is?
I'm comfortable with that. I saw
You yeah.
UFPs. I was just like, oh, why don't they just call it UFO?
Yeah, you walk up to me, I'm an apparition or chaser. What the I'm pulling out
I'm, a,
my dictionary first.
I'm an energy chaser.
Yeah,
They're gonna be like, okay, you're into Scientology or something, or
no,
science.
you work for Southwest and Bell,
I work for Southwestern Bell.
TXU.
Are
TXU.
you around?
So it's just one of those things. I just think it's I'm gonna get a couple of my guys in here with us in a few minutes. So I think it's just one of those things that we have to look into more and more and still I'm thinking which one and I know both of them is real. I know
Yeah.
at the end of the day, both is real and it getting real.
Hmm.
Now I'm willing also to explore the possibility that both could be a deadly encounter. Okay. And so this is what I think people don't really want to focus on because, yeah, oh, yeah, we'll focus on the fact that there's these things happening and everything else. But when it gets down to what we're hearing, some of the outcomes of some of these things, then it makes you understand that this whole ram of all of this stuff can get really pretty weird uh,
Yeah.
at the end of the day. And so I don't know. I don't know if there's going to be a time to where the ghost hunters and the UFO, well, we're doing it, UFO hunters and the ghost hunter come together and we go like, superheroes and go fight these things, this phenomena.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we find out that the ghosts actually have ships and now that's where we call ghost ships. Huh, okay.
Hmm.
All right, good joke. I'm funny. I'm really funny. You don't want to hear, you can
I
laugh.
was letting you ride that one out.
Yeah, yeah, I'm funny. So appreciate you bagging me up. Because ain't nobody else saying usually the chat is putting some laughter buttons or something. I haven't been funny all night uh at all. So all right, so what I'm gonna do is introduce you to a couple of people. But you probably seen them by name in the chat. And I'm gonna bring them into the conversation. And let me turn off this thing here because it's not working. I haven't anybody sent any support to my show tonight. Uh, can anybody test my cash app and make sure it works?
If you
Look,
do
somebody
that,
gonna be,
test mine too.
somebody gonna be funny too and pull up like a nickel. Talk about,
Response demand for
look, they're
lack
gonna
of
send like a nickel or a
better
dime. Like, did it work? I've done it with
yeah.
people. Like, I'll send like $1 or 50 cents. Let's before I send
Just
friends
to
money
test it out.
to
Yeah.
make sure they get it. And then I'll be like,
Yeah.
and then I had one time respond, man, I asked for $100. I'm like, dude, I'm just trying to make sure that you got it. So let me turn this off so we can have something on the screen for everyone. As
JJ asked, why does the field of ufology demand, for lack of better phrasing, proof more than the ghost field?
well, that's a
Hmm.
great question because
Yeah.
yeah, the ghost field is one of those things. Even when you think of ghosts, you're still thinking mystical, you're still thinking everything else. But when you start talking about ufology, JJ, now we're talking about technology because that ghosts are not showing technologically advanced stuff. They're not moving, instantaneously. They're not, coming in and out of the water with technology in space. So ghosts are just sorry ass ghosts. They just go.
Sorry.
You know what I'm saying? We have, you know what I'm saying?
Come on, me. You can't come into ghost world like that.
Now that I think about it, it's just a most sorry ghost, and but we got the real deal. We got spacecrafts, we got aliens, abductions, we got live cattle mutilations, we got you know
Yeah.
going into atmospheres, and
Could,
all of this stuff. Ghosts is just ghosts,
well,
but all
it
right.
could be the. No, they ain't gonna kill no cattle.
No, ghosts is not going to do that. They're not even going, and they're not even out there with the cattle because there's no house. Obviously ghosts need a place to live. That you know what I'm saying? They obviously are in the point where they need to be around something.
Sheltered.
I don't know.
That's interesting.
All right, so let me get my guy in here. Mateo, what's going
Hey,
on?
what's going on? Hi. Hi,
Uh,
Marie. How you doing?
Hi.
Marie, that's
Hi.
Mateo. Mateo,
Gail.
Marie, Teo. If you ever look into the chat, it's C-Tech. So if you ever seen her,
Okay.
uh,
Nice to meet you, Sita.
Nice to meet you.
Nike said, "Do you accept Bitcoin?" I
Yeah,
hope he's
I
talking
saw
to
that.
me. He might be talking to you because he ain't never asked me that question. I've been knowing him
Yeah.
for years. Five,
I
Check
think
your
he was
Cash
trying to
App,
make you
Robert.
laugh.
Oh, let me check my cash app. Shit, let me just see. Bitcoin. Remember that song we played, Dog Corn? Oh man, that was so awesome. Mateo, all right then. Is that for the book?
Mateo.
Yeah, put another one in the bowl,
Okay,
in
so
the
y'all
singing
know
bowl.
we raffling off this book tonight. We got, I think, we need about 12 more, but $5. Y'all remember it's a signed autograph book for Stanton Freeman. We did the first auction in Rackadackle. If you here tonight, I have not gotten your email to ship your book out, and so we'll be doing that as well. Appreciate it. So let me write Mateo's name now because I got to see. Oh, y'all got to know. Marie don't know we've been doing this, but
No.
here's the singing bowl.
Yeah,
There we go.
we use the singing bowl for the raffle.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
the
I
singing,
like it. I have two of them.
the singing
Oh,
bowl.
that's nice.
Yeah, no, I'm doing it, man. I'm coming up like George and Wheezy. Let's see. Yeah. I am. Y'all watch. I'm getting getting finer every day.
You too.
I
Look
lost a
at
few pounds.
you.
I need to give y'all a report. I done lost 7 pounds, and but I'm gonna start
Hey,
actually letting y'all see me get on a scale because I have a big scale in there. So proof is in the pudding, baby. You
nice
Congratulations.
work.
And look it.
hell yeah, I'm trying to get back to six
Yeah.
pounds 7 ounces.
Yes.
I
Very
was I
good.
came in this world at 6 pounds 7 ounces. I'm trying to get back there.
He's trying to get
6 pounds 7 ounces.
okay.
He's trying to get buff.
I'll watch that journey. I'll record it.
Yeah. It's kind of one of those. Uh, Jacob Ephraim says, "What's your email, Roderick? I'm not sorry. Contact at whythebigsecret.com. And let me put this on this. I'll just put it in I could put it somewhere. Hang on. I got to add it, y'all. Let me get this guy the email address. And that's for any of y'all who want to share some few things at why the big secret.com. All right. Boom. Let's show that bad boy.
So, Marie, I've got some questions for you.
I knew it.
Boy, you have questions. Shoot, we
I
can go
got
to
questions.
school.
I knew
All right,
it.
so let me get
They're easy.
Rob is here.
Okay.
Yeah, we're get Robin here too.
Oh no,
Is he?
Nike said he was
Okay.
talking to me about Bitcoin.
Yeah, he was talking to you.
Yeah, but you don't send nobody no $10 Bitcoin, right? They're like a waste of coin.
Kinda, yeah.
I don't know. So
I don't know how Bitcoin works.
yeah, there we go. Rob,
There he
what's
is.
going on, man?
What's up?
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Hi,
Nice to meet
Rob.
you, Marie. How are you?
Yes, a
Good,
pleasure.
good.
She's
Definitely a pleasure.
she's a ghost hunter. You know what I'm saying?
I heard
No center,
for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, she is a ghost hunter.
Yeah.
All right.
In the
So,
flesh.
oh yeah, that email works for PayPal too. I
Mhm.
tested that.
Just FYI, huh?
Yeah, Steph tested that. She
Test
tested
it
it.
out.
she supported it from there. All right, so you guys been now y'all seen the show there. You seen us talking a little bit, and I promise you, Marie, they just don't have questions for you. They better not just have questions for you. Just, I
I
mean,
feel like it's
you just
gonna be
can't come in here and just hijack with you know what I'm saying?
Yes, you can.
They got one question for me, like Rob, what's a UFO? He done got a whole. You see that book?
He's got a big notebook. Come on.
I have never seen. It's about as thick as this book.
It's big.
Yeah,
No.
and, and
I
I
got a
talked to him.
second one over here if I run out of space.
I talked to him on the phone someday. He'd be like, Rob,
He's been
we chilling.
cataloging this
Yeah, he'd be like,
for
Rob,
what?
we chilling. I may not have
4
nothing to
weeks.
say tonight. You got a whole
Nah.
freaking diary. Okay, but that's okay. I ain't
But
jealous.
this
I'm
is
just
this
jealous.
is all new to me, Roderick. I want to learn, and so I'm curious.
He's
That's all.
prepared. He's
But you know
Uh,
what? I don't,
we got the resident expert here. I want to
I
talk. I
don't know
want
what
to
he's
hear him tell
asking.
us.
Mateo's ready.
He might just start at
I,
look. I know Dakota, but Mattel's ready.
Hey,
Mateo's ready.
Rob's got questions too. We were talking about
Let me
this
check
before
my
the
Have
email.
some
show.
too.
Yeah, I had this
Yeah,
dialogue ahead of time.
we're here to learn.
Uh,
Well, I'm
Jacob.
here
We want to.
for you guys. I'm here for you.
Good.
You
All right, so
shooting? You shooting Mattel?
all
Yeah,
right,
I'll
just
go
hang on a
first,
minute.
and we'll go
Okay, hang on
back and
one quick second. Jacob, I got your email.
we'll go back and
You
forth.
did not include a telephone number. Send me your number, so I'll call you, and then we will do that. Okay, go ahead. I'm good.
Okay.
No, this is all cool. I don't mean to make Marie nervous here.
I'm nervous.
Nervous?
No,
Wait a minute. Nervous?
I live for this.
The girl go to graveyards, dude.
I want to
Great
go back
yard.
to the Belvoir. Can we do
Yeah,
that? Because
yeah,
while you were talking, I went online and oh my God, the pictures of this place. This is like
yes,
an eerie place.
yes.
Roderick, you have to check this out. I don't know if
What
you
is it
had a
called?
chance, Rob. There's the Belvoir is the name of the winery she went to.
Okay.
And it's, I don't know, a website
Beautiful.
that I was on. I'll take a look at it here. It was onlyinourstate.com, and it was a Missouri state website.
Yeah,
If you Google it, you'll find it.
yeah.
Anyhow,
All right.
the the place. Oh my God, this place is unbelievable. They've got
Beautiful.
like these huge old buildings, and a
Hmm.
lot of these abandoned lower buildings that look, kind of
Yeah,
like an
they're
old
pretty
mental
ruined.
hospital,
Yeah.
and then the big grand building and huge grounds. And the website kind of got into like what you were looking at probably, where all the different little rooms and abandoned rooms where all the
Hmm.
spirits I think are
Yeah.
wandering around. So when you were there, I just was thinking about David in the beginning. Was there actually a security guard supposed to be on duty, or was that
Yes.
completely false too? Okay.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was some, but now
There.
David was of course not him. It was somebody else, right?
Yeah. There was actually another person that was on duty that was on break,
Ah,
and that's what made it even more weird when
yes.
I found out everything, and I'm just like, okay, this guy he's in our video, so he's got to
He
be
was really.
real.
You've got the
But I
proof.
had to know because me and my brother we were just like, where did he go? He just vanished. There's just no way for
But
him to
you should have known
vanish
if
like
he was a ghost or not, though. You should have like picked the
you
vibe.
know. Somebody said maybe David was an alien. Maybe he was, and maybe there
When
was a
One for
portal.
the aliens. One for the aliens. That's cool.
1 point for the aliens.
when
Yeah.
JJ
So,
said it was the car was an apparition, it made sense because you didn't hear it. It made no. You
no,
said
we
you didn't
didn't
even
hear
know
it.
it
There
came up,
wasn't any lights, and we
and
were
I
just
thought that
walking to the
kind of
front,
made
and
sense.
then I was like, "Whoa!" It was just so. It was all perfectly timed. It was so ironic how perfectly timed everything was, and when he went through it was like he was so still. Every one of those ruined buildings that we went through, and he took us on a tour through. He was so still to the point where I pinched him. I said, "Are you real?" I literally said this in
Oh,
the video because I was like, he is just too chill about this whole thing. So I literally pinched him in the video. So we're all cracking up laughing. And we're just going through all these rooms, and he's like, just watch out because this elevator shaft has already gone down, and a lot of people go here. There's graffiti here, and he was just taking us around. And he took us to this one spot, which is actually in the old kitchen or the old cafeteria, and at the top there's a balcony that looks over the courtyard, and that's where they say that's where he says he can see the shapeshifter and
Shapeshifting.
the grays. And I didn't start thinking about it till now because he said he goes up there and he sits up there for hours. So
Wow.
me and my brother are like, this is a really nice terrace, right? It was a really nice terrace that was right there with a balcony view. And it was very peaceful. So I was telling my brother, I was like, this is really, really peaceful up here. Like it was just like so serene, so cute, so much serenity. So then we walk and he was like, I sit up here for hours.
Huh.
Hours? Didn't dawn on me until now that he would stay up there for hours. Who would stay
That's
out there
where
in
he
that terrace for
stays
hours?
there. Maybe he's there forever,
All the
right?
time.
Yes.
Exactly.
He's
For
there
eternity.
forever.
Somebody put a
He's in,
question. What do you think about Zach Baggins' Ghost Adventure? Real or fake? You know anything?
um I I
I
I
never
was
heard of it though.
I wasn't too fascinated with. Are you directing that to me
You the
or
only one the word
so?
ghost applies to.
I have a different appreciation for Zach Bacon's Ghost Adventures, and at first, I didn't really care for them. At first, I thought it was just a bunch of jokers going out there trying to debunk all these theories and these locations, and it was just so fake it to me at first, considering that I lived through these things. It was kind of insulting to me. And
Mm,
then the more he started doing his investigations and the more things they started to unveil, and his experience that he had at the demon house, which was in Gary, Indiana. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that. They call it
Hmm.
the portal to hell.
Oh
So
yeah.
his experience at the demon house
Hmm.
with it was a black family that lived there, and they did a whole documentary on it. And he suffered some physical ailments and suffered some physical issues as a result of having been there. And then having that museum that he's got, I think is in Nevada. I think it's in Nevada. But so I have a different respect for him than I did in the beginning when they first started their adventures, their ghost adventures. But some of those groups out there, I laugh at. I'm just like, you guys are taking all this equipment into these locations. You're some of them I consider logical skeptics. They believe something once they've actually experienced it,
mm.
and they go into these locations with this mindset of, "Oh my God, this is not real," and then they're laughing and joking, and then there's this comical point about it that just kind of just makes me so annoyed with it. With a lot of those ghost adventure investigative TV shows that they have out now, but
Hmm.
I'm appreciating the diversity that Marie ain't never scared. I'm appreciating the diversity that is starting to be publicized on a lot of the TV networks when it comes to the investigators, and they're taking a different approach about it. A lot of them are just comical, but now they're starting to take a little bit of more of an investigative, serious approach to these shows. But
Look like there's someone from your side of the channel just posted on the screen here. And
um,
do be
try to be more earnest as he learned. Yes,
do be
totally agree. The Ammons house was a turning point. Absolutely. Yeah. I think that was the turning point for him to where he's like, he became a true believer at that point. He's like, you know what? This shit is really real. I've been affected by it. So now I have to
sugar
change.
honey iced tea. Sugar
Yeah.
honey,
The
the
sugar
sugar
honey
honey iced tea.
latte. So now he's got this perspective of
Right.
seriousness about it. He's collected so many different things. He has a museum and that I really want to go to. I gotta go. Would you guys go to this museum with me, Mateo, Rob, would y'all go to this museum? No,
Absolutely.
you go.
I'd
You
love to
would
see it.
go?
Of
Oh,
course.
Yeah,
heck
Of
I
yeah.
gotta
course.
see the museum. I got to. He's
Let's
got
go.
that
Hey,
kind of
don't
like
go.
what's those two investigators from the early day, Warren and Lorraine,
Hmm. Yeah.
Lorraine and Ed Warren.
Hmm.
They had that museum, so
Conjuring. Yeah.
he's kind of adopted that same thing with preserving these objects and stuff like that, which I think is fascinating. I think he's even got one of those objects from Ed and Lorraine Warren's collection. I think it might be the doll or something, or a chair or
He does.
something he's
Oh,
got there.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
he's
a
he's pretty
chair, I
interesting. I have
believe. Yeah.
respect for him now. Different.
Hmm. Okay. I'm up next. So just going. So as far as ETs go, so there's theories that the ETs. Some people think they're dimensional, so they move back and forth between dimensions. and I know that you have contact with apparitions, and you mentioned that they exist in another realm. Just really wondering if you feel like as far as the consciousnesses, if that's even a word, are connected in any way. Like, would an ET possible that an ET and a ghost would communicate through consciousness?
Hmm. I think we talked about that a little bit earlier, kind of in bits and pieces, if they had that telepathic consciousness to communicate with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And that's still a compound of research that I'm trying to unveil, because I believe that they do to a certain degree. I believe that they do. Just like that at the Belvoir, having all of those different beings frequenting one location. Is it because it's a portal? Is it because they have the ability to telepathically communicate amongst each other? What is really happening is the thing that's going through my mind. What is this communication format that they're developing that is possibly in it becoming more enhanced through their own
Right.
technology, or through their own energetic abilities? I'm not sure, but I personally believe that they do have that ability, and that is starting to become more and more heightened. I believe it is.
Now, and I know also you said something about certain spirits being locked to a particular location. So, with that being said, are there ghosts that are just free to roam? And then, if they uh, are they locked to Earth, or are they able to pierce the universe potentially?
Yeah, it's got some good questions here, Rob. You know, there's the energy forms. Okay, so we think about them and from a scientific viewpoint. Okay, compounds, elements. When the earth shifts, or when different ions or different parts of the earth move, then those ions or those elements shift as well. So I believe once the shift has taken place, then that energy has to reposition itself in some other form. I also believe, just depending on how that person or that individual or that being transitioned over, how they transitioned over is going to tell the story if they have the ability to manipulate how they travel, which is still something I'm doing more research
Mhm.
on to compile to find out how far they're able to travel. Is there a restricted um, field that they're allowed to travel to? Why they haven't transitioned to a higher
Mhm.
frequency field outside of Earth? Or what is causing them to be so dormant and restricted is something I'm still researching. But there have been reports, like I did an investigation in South Kansas City, and there was one ghost that was identified in one house across the street, and then the same ghost was identified in the house on the opposite side of the street. The same ghost. So I'm wondering, where did he where was he dormant at initially? Did he die in the street and he has the ability to just kind of jump from one section,
Mm.
or was type of burial ground or something that he was tied to where he can manipulate that, but he wasn't present in any of the other houses. It was just the one right across from each other. They had the same reports of having the same side,
Wow.
the same entities, the same ghosts. So it's interesting, but I'm still doing some more research to find out how that energetic uh, frequency shift and travel, how it works with them, or why it's so restricted to certain things, certain energies.
Hmm.
Nice. Okay.
I
I'm
believe
definitely
there's a
satisfied with
collective.
that.
He said, "I'm satisfied with that." Thank you.
Someone says, what is the difference between a spirit and a ghost? One of them is liquor, and the other one is an entity.
Yeah, that's that's why I call them energies, because the distinction can also be a cultural identification of it.
Hmm.
It could be, your a religious identification. So I tend to steer away from this being called a spirit, ghost. I mentioned them while we're having discussions because it's easier for you to understand what I'm trying to convey or what I'm talking about. But I call them energies just because their energy forms. They're composed of a higher frequency of energy than what our actual vessels are composed of. So I identify them in different energy levels because of their ability to be manipulative in their energy forms. But I can't say one way why it's spirit, why it's a ghost. I think that's more of a cultural, religious identification of them.
Hmm.
Does that help? You
You got
said
another one, Mattel?
Yeah, I
host.
got another one. I
Another
I
one.
just
You
want
got
to
a
say
book. You
that
saw that list, right?
no,
I saw that list.
Yeah.
we won't get to them all. But
Oh, believe me, but we can. But now go ahead.
I believe in a collective consciousness too. To Rob's question and your answer, Marie, I just want to talk. I'll talk about that, but I do have a question. I think there's a collective consciousness because if there is, then aliens, ghosts, the afterlife, living, we humans who can connect to it, it's all one realm. And
Hmm.
it makes sense that they would share it, right? There's not going to be two. It's all that spooky action at a distance, like Einstein talked about, right? So if you want to get the physics involved.
Yeah.
So speaking of physics, and the guys know I'm a data man, so I didn't want to. I know you didn't want me to have to go here, Marie, but I got to ask.
Yeah.
You you've had you have a lot of experiences frequently. I mean, is that true? I mean, it sounds like given you've got the four in your home, the
Yes.
ones you saw at the Belvoir, your neighbors' homes you were talking about.
Hmm.
I mean, are you seeing or encountering having these encounters daily? I mean, is that true? And
Yes.
if you are, have you laid any traps for him yet? I'm just curious.
Oh my gosh, laid some traps for him. That's
Yeah, I
funny.
mean, as far
Like
like
a ghost
cameras,
girl.
the camera stuff, and I know
Yeah.
the paranormal investigators sometimes bring like electromagnetic sensory
Yes.
equipment. And so,
Oh,
have you
good.
done any of that? Yeah.
Yes, I've done that. And to answer the first question, um, I encounter them every day, all day. It doesn't
Awesome.
get more heightened at night or during the day. I can go in the bathroom and then they're active and I can feel them and I can see them. So there's no restriction on what time of day that they become visible to me. And I actually documented the energies in my room. I didn't do it more so around the house just because I wanted my family to feel comfortable. But they know they're active, but I doubt they want to actually see what they're having to sleep next to. So um, I documented it and I put cameras in my main bedroom because I have a master suite, and then I put cameras in the bathroom on the ledge, so it has a big overview of my closets and the shower, and then the vanity and all that. And I'm going to send that documented footage to Roderick, and then the next time we come on here, I'll let you guys see what I have going on in my actual house.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That would be that's what I was hoping you were going to say. Very good. Good
Yep, I'll
job.
let you see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
And
Nicole
I do have
says,
another one. I'm sorry, Rob.
"Oh, go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
go ahead,
Go ahead.
go ahead."
Okay.
No, go ahead, Rob. Get
Just
the
a quote
crowd. Get the crowd
on
in.
the screen here. Nicole says, "Lately, I will randomly smell cigarettes in my house. No one smokes in my house, but my grandfather that passed away used to smoke. So I really think he is nearby when I smell the smoke."
Hmm. Possibly. It's interesting when people say that they say I can smell somebody's perfume, my grandmother's perfume. I can still smell it, or I can smell cigar smoke around my house. And a certain family member or a person who used to live here was a heavy smoker. Um, I'm 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 still trying to understand because I haven't had that experience of having to smell perfume, fragrances, aromas, or anything like that. And I'm wondering if it's just maybe because we're tying ourselves to those habits that they had previously, and maybe we're convincing ourselves psychologically that this smell is attached to someone who passed over. Or could there just be, there actually be some aromas that are presenting themselves in your homes. I just don't know if those energy forms have the ability to sit back and smoke a cigar and spray on specific perfume, because those are just physical items that were present to them in their life in their human form. But I've heard that a lot. I've heard that a lot from a lot of people. I personally haven't had that experience with aromas or scents or smokes or anything like that, but I've heard a lot of people say that. I've heard a lot of people say that. Um, and I think there was another question. Did you have another question on top of the question you asked, or was that you,
Rob,
Rob? That
Rob did.
oh, okay, Rob, you did.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I did. So because I heard you speak about frequencies, and I was kind of thinking about that. So, like, if I had a, well, I wear glasses, but if I had a pair of magic glasses, right, that allowed me to see in all spectrums, is this like the same thing that you experience being able to talk to the other side, like you're able to see
Yeah.
out of the normal spectrum, or a person would be tied or locked down to, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, first of all, if you get those glasses, let me know because I want a pair of them. But I do have, I'll call it my seventh sense. So I have another layer of lens that I have that other people don't have. Well, actually, there's a lot of people that have this lens that can see beyond the traditional frequencies of our normal sight, or that I believe are tapped into a different layer of subconsciousness that we're trained to ignore. Like we're conditioned to make ourselves aware of the standard senses, sights, being able to see in the standard form, being able to hear and taste and smell. Um, but that other layer of subconsciousness and those other layers of abilities, we're trained to ignore them. So I had an injury happen to me when I was 4 years old, which I believe is what ignited my abilities to see on those different layers and in those different frequencies. So I have to constantly condition myself to be able to continue to see these different frequencies or to heighten my abilities to see beyond the layers of what I'm able to see now. Because it's me tapping into that consciousness. So I do a lot of meditating so that way I can tap out of this world and then tap into the other layer of worlds and realms that we are trained to ignore. I believe that
Mm-hmm.
every human has an ability to tap into that conscious layer, but we have to be willing to do that. We have to be willing to um, take away what we were taught as a version of truth and enlighten ourselves and keep our minds open and broad enough to where we can absorb those different frequencies so they can become visible to us. But I definitely believe that every living being has the ability to see these energy forms. We just haven't had, we just got to be conditioned enough and disciplined enough to tap into it. But
That
I've
sounds, yeah,
I've had the
I
ability.
believe that too. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I've had the ability to see energy forms ever since I was 4. I had a very traumatic injury when we were living in our haunted house, and I ended up getting a scar. I felt I was pushed by one of the entities, energy forms, and I have a scar, and I had a very serious head injury. So after that, I was so heightened, like I could see everything. Even after we left the haunted house, I still had the ability to see things that my siblings couldn't see, and I was just that one child that was, kind of pushed aside and isolated because of these additional abilities that I had. I couldn't talk to people about it. I couldn't consult with anybody because we're a black family. So what are we going to be able to say to a ministry or a hospital or a facility? There was nothing that we could do to figure out why I was still able to see things. So I kept it all in up until several years ago. I didn't tell anybody about what I had the ability to do. I just kind of existed around it and I allowed the energy forms to exist around me because I didn't know what else to do. I just
Hmm.
internalized it all.
Dr. Nolan would love to talk
Hell
to
yeah.
you, Marie. We
That's
we
awesome.
and the reason is, if you the guys will remember, because we did a deep dive into that Tucker Carlson interview with him. As part of the brain scans that he was doing on people, he found that all of the experiencers and all the people who were had seemed to have an innate ability to connect to the ETs had something differently wired in their brain, and I can't remember the term. It was this part of the brain called the catena, not the pituitary gland. It was some other word that. it was, Rob probably knows, it was kind of a, it's a complicated word, but anyway,
Yeah.
it was, he proved pretty much through the data that people like you who have an innate ability to connect had that area more developed. So that was, I thought that's
Yeah.
interesting. Maybe,
Yeah.
and he did say that some of the people may have gained that through a traumatic experience, through
Mhm.
like an injury or
Yeah.
something like that.
And I honestly, I didn't
Yep.
know how. I didn't start making the associations and connections until I started doing more research. I started to do and compile more research in 2016 when my father passed away because we were not allowed to talk about what we went through. So up until his passing is when I was like, okay, now he's transitioned over. Now we can talk about what we went through because we're no longer being held to a fire, to a lantern of silence. So after that, I started to do more research, and I realized a lot of people who do have those additional abilities have either some type of um, fit physical disability, like Down syndrome. I see a lot of people who suffer with Down syndrome having that additional layer of sense and can see all these additional energy forms and additional have those additional connections. People who do have injuries have been tapped into a different layer of consciousness. I didn't realize that until I started researching it more. Like, okay, this is connecting a lot better than what I even
Mhm.
understood growing up. It's
So
very interesting, and I would love to talk to Mr.
Mhm.
Nolan. So whatever connection you guys can make on that,
Yeah.
it
that would be great.
sounds like you're saying if I
Mhm.
meditate, even Diana said, I'll be able to see ghosts.
Possibly, I do believe if I
Yeah.
can suffer such an injury and be able to tap into another consciousness and have these abilities, why can't we tap into that just in a normal functioning way? I believe it's within us to do that. Like they say, we have these spurts of deja vu, or we have these I've been here before. Or we have these moments feeling as if we've had a specific experience, or we have dreams of things that are to come. That's because we are our brains and our bodies are functioning on other levels that we are trained to ignore. So if we actually had the opportunity to tap into that layer of us without all of the restrictions, then we should have the ability to communicate and connect telepathically, emotionally, energetically, on all different compound levels if we allow ourselves to.
Mm.
We have to unrestrict ourselves, is what I feel. If you unrestrict yourself, then you can connect to those other
Yep.
components of.
It's
We're so.
similar to CE5, right? People get into a meditative state in
Yeah.
order to
And I think that's where a
allow
lot
the
of people
mind to make that
do
connection.
they go do the DMT stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, to help
There's a. I
them get there.
wonder if I have that book. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. Oh,
Maybe
there it
there's
is.
one more question from the audience, Roderick, after Marie finds her book.
I think I got it. I
Well,
think.
come on, the third eye. Nicole JJ has one. Stephen Hunter said, hello, everyone. I'm eating my grapes. Um,
Hello. Yep.
Mark,
So, oh, would you have another comment or question before I talk about this book that I think will help a
No,
lot of people?
No, not me.
no,
So,
go for it.
yeah. So I started reading this book, and I've read it dozens of times, and there's a lot of notes that I've made in here. But it's called The Psychic Empath, and pretty much this book is a guide to helping a person develop their abilities and intuition and their clairvoyance to tap into telepathy, um, and just getting into that other layer of consciousness that's dormant in you. This has been a really good guide for me to continue to tap into that conscious layer and to open and expand my abilities because they're there. They're not going anywhere. I've tried to ignore them. I've tried to pretend like they didn't exist. I've tried everything possible to get rid of it. It's not going anywhere.
You
I
can't
had
turn it
to,
off.
yeah, I couldn't wash it away. I
Hmm.
couldn't smoke it away. I couldn't do anything like that. It's activated. So I had to learn to accept it and to allow it to exist in my life without me being so afraid of it. So I had to face it head on. And when I did that, so many things started to awaken in me, and other layers of abilities started to become activated, to where I'm like, I can go into a house and I can tell you the vibrations of everything that was going on in the house and what I feel, what I see, before I even go through every single room. That's how heightened it has become because I've accepted it. But the more you run from your truth, the more problems you run into. So yeah, it wasn't going anywhere. I've accepted it. I'm okay with it. My kids accept it. They know what their mom has the ability to do and see and feel, and that's the approval. All I needed was them. They gave me the green light, and I was like,
Well, I believe in you.
yeah, thank you. I know you do. That's why we do this,
Mhm.
right?
People are asking what the name of the book
Mhm.
was again, Marie.
Yeah, this one is called Psychic Empath, and it's written by Kimberly Moon. And it's a really good book if you want to try to tap into that layer of consciousness within yourself, and just tap out of the traditional world, and there's lots of other books. I'm not restricting you to that one. Just research something that is going to be a compass for you in your life. Um, that'll help you open and awaken yourself, because I just don't believe that we're here alone. We're not here alone. This platform is one of many that has proven
Now,
that
are you mean
in
you're
this
not?
world.
Yeah, we say that we're not here
Yeah,
alone because other life from other galaxies. Now you're
yeah.
saying other realms,
Other realms.
the
There's
spirit world.
spirit worlds. There's multiple spirit worlds. We are just a fragment of that world. We're a little piece of the Milky Way. We're a little fragment of it. So, but there's multiple worlds. I mean, I've traveled through different realms, just through just astral travel. I've existed in other realms, and I've documented it. Every dream I have, I believe, is a compass of truth for me, and it tells the story of other parts of the my experiences, even prior to my existence in this form. So I document every single dream that I have that I can actually remember, because it tells me a story and it leaves breadcrumbs to the different paradigms of truth. So if you ever have dreams that you can actually remember, and you remember them so vividly, write them down. Write down what you saw, what you thought you smelled, what colors you saw, who was there, and whatever vivid characteristics that you can see in those dreams, and whatever you can remember. Just document it, because it's going to be your blueprint of truth to who you are and what your
Mhm.
abilities are. That's
Interesting.
my preservation of it.
All
It's been
right,
really good.
Good.
all right. Well, we're going to Rob and Mateo. I'm gonna finish up the conversation with Marie real quick before we get out of here. Appreciate
Thank you,
y'all
Marie.
hopping in and everything as well.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for answering those
Thank you
questions
so
Yeah.
for us. Nice
much.
to you.
Rod, Mateo, it has been a pleasure, and your questions were not that burning.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. So one of those deals. Yeah. So I think it's
You're very welcome.
one of those. You talking to me or somebody else?
Just the post that was on there. They said, "Thank you, Marie."
I thought you.
You're welcome.
I thought you were talking to a ghost or something. Like the one
That
standing next to you. The one next to you. Like, yeah, you're welcome.
that one that's right there that was open in my refrigerator.
No. I saw that with my own eyes. My eyes are useless when your mind is blind. I saw that one.
You-
I can barely see the one on the other side of you. Yeah, that. Yeah. Well, you put two arrows, but put one at a time. But
yeah,
the other side, yeah,
it's other side.
the
But this
other
side.
that side, yes,
So you did see something here?
yeah. He's right there right now. He's just salivating over there. Just
Ah, bet he is.
yeah,
By that soldier, he done escaped. I'm so glad to have you. Oh, thank you, Nicole.
what is
Thank
that?
you. She said, "So glad to have you back." Um, And then Stephen was mentioning a lot of stuff. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Stephen Hunter. Stephen Hunter, absolutely.
Well,
You're
I think
Tanya.
so. Make sure y'all definitely like the show. Make sure you hit that like button too. We'll be out of here in a few moments. And just pretty much from there, Marie as always. But I know ain't nobody else paying attention to us right now, but I'm hearing a lot of new stuff about you that I thought I knew stuff about.
Oh, God.
You know,
Oh,
I feel like a stranger and stuff. I'm like
no, you're not. What new things did you hear that
a
you?
bunch. I mean, all this other stuff, this stuff, and I can't even. I'm just it's so much of it. Yeah, I got one of them lists like Mateo have over here. So
Is you got a
yeah,
big list. It's so much stuff to talk about for me. So when somebody, like, I call it, activates it, then I go into that descriptiveness of it, because it's a lot to talk about. It's a lot of things that I've experienced that I, for one, didn't have enough confidence to talk about. And now the platforms have opened up, and a lot of people are so inviting and so accepting and supportive. It's easier for me to talk about everything. I
I
want to
mean,
hear what
but
you
do
guys
but do you
say.
think as far as same
Thank you
thing
for
with the UFO phenomenon? People are challenged to share these experiences because the way they think people will see them.
Yeah, and
And
that's been a biggest part of everybody's ability to talk about their experiences is judgment and the perception of other people. So they limit their conversations about it, and they're like hiding behind everybody else, hoping somebody goes to the foreground and starts to talk about it, and then they might inch their way up there. But that's been a lot of issues. And then, just like, if somebody sees a crime or something happen, they're waiting for somebody else to talk about it before they talk about it, because they don't want to be involved in it, and they don't want to, they want to pretend like it never happened. So they're shunning away from it. But I believe that these platforms is going to be that conduit for people to actually open up and just be more confident about telling their story. I've had so many people come to me saying thank you, for one, for being a Black woman that's not afraid to talk about what she's been through and what she's going through, because I've been dealing with it and I didn't know how to say it to other people. And most of the people are more worried about what their family thinks than anybody else outside of their family.
I
They're
don't know.
more concerned
I think
about,
it's pretty much, it's the whole point for me is it's unverifiable, right?
yeah,
I can't verify exactly what you say you experience and what you do, right? So I have to at some point believe you, right?
yeah,
Go with you, and then at some point believe that I'm not crazy to be with you. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to
yeah.
go all that path. You
You
know what
got to
I'm
go
saying?
through that. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to go through that path, and then you got because now I have to defend you if someone else that I know, and I say, hey,
Mhm.
meet Marie, and they go, oh yeah, I saw her crazy, on YouTube, and she said some stuff. I'm like, no, no, it's not. But then you got to admit, hey, I believe her because I believe in ghosts. Now I can't say I've seen one.
You're right.
It might have had, but I've heard noises, right? I've
Yeah.
I've done all this other stuff. So I think it's one of those deal. And yes, I agree with you. Being African American, Black, female, period.
Hmm.
Because I've experienced the disconnect myself in this community. When I first entered in the community, it was a whole different vibe, for
Yeah.
me to navigate through in the beginning, being African American, a UFO investigator, not not in the consensus of saying, okay, there's a disconnect between white and black. It's just in my own community of saying I'm taking this journey. And then did y'all see a UFO too? And they'd be like, no, dude, but you can look at them and like, yeah, they want to tell you, but it's like, no, they don't want to be seen crazy. Now
Yeah.
it's mainstream. Now we have it all over the news, and I think still people still are not comfortable of coming
Yeah.
out, and although
They,
it's in mainstream media.
yeah. They're afraid of what they believe the repercussions are. They're
Yeah.
afraid of what they think the consequences are if they talk about it. And that's why I said I can be the poster child of this whole movement. I don't mind anymore, because I know what I went through and I know what I experienced. So if people want to label me and judge me and criticize me, and put this whole labeling category, put me in a label category because they don't understand, or maybe they're just not confident enough to tell their story, I'm okay with that, because I'm going to set the tone, or at least me and other people like yourself, we're going to set the tone for people to come out and start being confident with saying how they feel about certain things and being vocal about their experiences. Because
And,
it's time for us to stop making this a secret. Why the big secret? That's the basis of this.
hey, that's the plug.
Why the big
Well,
secret?
hang on. I got
You
to bring you on the
know?
big screen for that one. Now you can say it again. Go ahead.
Why the big secrets?
Yeah.
Why? Why does there have to be a big secret? We've been keeping this a secret for years. My father forced us to keep this a secret for years. And look what it did to us. It made us believe that things were wrong with us. We weren't crazy. We went through something. So why do we got to keep this a secret? I don't want to keep it a secret anymore. I want to talk about it.
And I think, you know what, and here's another part of this.
Yeah.
I received ridicule from this because my mission is to bring humor into it, not to talk
Yeah.
about someone
Yeah.
or laugh at them, but to laugh with them so that
Yeah.
the laughter allows them to become okay with it.
Yeah.
Because you know, once you and I think we did an interview with, and he might be on here tonight, David Lavelle. And David was telling his story, which I thought was so compelling. And he was more concerned at that time when he didn't tell his wife how she would
Yeah.
see him. But then we got to talking, and I started saying some things, and I noticed he was able to laugh about the experience.
Yeah.
But you can tell in the beginning it was
It was
traumatic.
serious. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think there's so many people out there, and that is my mission. So even when I hit on these streets with this new microphone this week,
I'm
I'm gonna be
proud
out,
of you.
I'm gonna
I
be
can't
out there
wait to see
this
these
weekend.
videos.
Yes, I'm gonna get
I've
out
got to
there.
be a part. I got to be a part of one of them. I got to be a part. I will be out there in the field for at least one of these videos and interview people for you.
There you go. Or
Yeah, I will do that.
we're still
Do
coming up with the name of the street team, but I think it'll be
that.
True
We
Secret.
gonna get it'll come to us. And most of my titles and creative ideas come to me in my dreams. Like they do. Everything comes to me in my dreams.
Well,
Thank you, Oscar. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, JJ.
yeah, JJ
Thank you.
said Roderick is about
Thank you,
creating
Mateo.
comfortability. Yeah, you know, and that's it. I think if
Yeah.
we can go on that mission, and I will say this out loud to everyone who's listening as well, get people here. If you got people who have experiences,
Yeah.
start sending them, tell them to email me at contact@whythebigsecret.com with their contact number. I already had 2 people tonight show that, yeah, I'm gonna start interviewing these people, because the minute they can come to not only a safe place to where we are, and then we got enough um monitors and moderators, truth seeker, that are cold anything that's coming out of the whack. So I'm not worrying about them being degraded here on our channel through no
Yeah.
comments, because
Yeah.
we,
Yeah.
we own that. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think, but if we can begin the process where people can come out and
Yeah.
telling that big secret,
Yes.
telling
Create.
that big secret, yeah, and asking them, why has it been a big secret?
Mm-hmm.
And I think once we get to that why question, we're going to find the emotional side of things. And
Yeah.
that's what's going to connect with the other people. Like, man, I felt the same way, but maybe I can now talk about my
You can
experience.
relate. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is definitely this is safety net for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the safety net where you can come and have that discussion and be open about what.
Uh-oh. Did we lose you too? All right. But, hey, don't wait. Don't worry. I can do this. I can do this. All right. So there you have it, Marie. And so hopefully her channel disconnect. Oh, she's back now. Let me see if the ghost of Christmas past has got her, or let me, you know what I'm saying?
It
Just
went out. It did that twice. It did that twice. Look at that. But at least people can
back
hear
to them.
me. I'm not
Huh?
choppy, right?
You brought that up. That was past news. No one said anything about your audio tonight.
Oh, good.
It's dove that it didn't exist. Even me was just like, because we tested it earlier.
Yeah, we did. We did.
Yeah, but I meditated too.
Good. See, your meditation it helped me align things over here on this platform.
Man, I got on the phone because I believe in the 11th element, and that's something I believe in, where
Oh,
you can
yeah.
tap into anywhere in this world, just like the internet, because things are for humanity and for people. If you are trying to get a solution to something,
Mm-hmm.
you can tap into the 11th element and literally get into the mind of, not the mind, but the ideas, because everything is in that realm of somebody in China, and you can bring that into your realm. It's all about what I call the inner CEO. It's got to be permission. So I always have my inner CEOs to
Mm.
negotiate with that other inner CEO and see if they can work out a deal and
Yeah,
provide me with those things. And
to
that's something I've
provide
been
you
studying
with it.
for quite some time. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
definitely, what does it got to do with your audio, right? Shit, nothing. But the whole point is, I know, right? I just didn't want to keep people in suspense, like, oh shit, we can get some better audio. It has nothing to do with that.
Has nothing to do with it at all.
Yeah, but Marie, I really appreciate you, and I know you've been going through a lot with your mom and behind the scenes, and the fact that you can, come here and also share and have joy tonight too with all of us, and everything else. And although we talk beyond that
Yeah.
way, but to the audience and the ones who says all the other good things, and so I just want to. Anything else coming up new that I know you just been on some excursions
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah. Actually, I have I have another documentary that I'm going to be doing over 4 different locations. One is the Sally House, so I'll have to revisit that location.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have not a documentary, but another investigation coming up next weekend at a penitentiary. Can I ever say that?
Ghost in a penitentiary.
Yeah, a penit. Yeah, that I have.
You've seen a lot of that though on some of the shows where they.
Yeah,
I mean, these things are shut down, so
yeah. So
you would think a ghost would want to get out of jail. He just walked the hell up out of there.
you think they got to get out of jail free cards?
Yeah,
Maybe
I mean, think about it. Now he's the ghost in the
limited
penitentiary,
supply. Get out of jail free cards.
especially when you got places that are shut down
Yeah,
and nobody goes there. Do the ghosts know that
like
ain't nobody coming there? So do they just leave, or now that this is home, I'm
if
my solitude, and
that would be the uh, concluding the conscious mind of a ghost, if they have a mind, or where that's another layer of research that would be interesting to find out. Do they have that consciousness of knowing that they're alone?
I don't know, but Marie, I think we crazy.
That's why we got this. That's why we got this show.
Yeah, and if it hadn't been for other crazy people like the rest of all of us together, this whole community, we'll just be, yeah. So now crazy become normal.
This is a
You know,
new normal.
things are real,
This
ghosts
is
are real, UFO are
yeah,
real, and all of this stuff. And so I think that's what it is. Let me see
yeah,
the chat before we get out of
yeah.
here.
I was gonna say hi to several people that made comments. Nicole, JJ Bogan, Matt, Sonia, Stephen, Oscar, Jason. Thank you guys so much for your comments and your acknowledgement, and everybody else. I've apologized. Mateo, Rob, Mister, everybody. Thank you for your comments and acknowledgement. And yes, it's been a journey, and I'm here to share my story in any way that I can to help anyone, to inspire anybody, and to motivate anybody to seek their own truth. So this platform has been amazing working with Roderick and being able to communicate with a lot of people with their experiences, and just give other people a different perspective, whether they believe or disbelieve. Just give them a different perspective to look at things. So thank you all for your positive energy and positive acknowledgments.
All right, so y'all have the greatness of Marie, the ghost hunter. In fact, tag
Yeah.
her officially right now as the most beautiful ghost hunter. And
Yeah.
until we have a pageant of other ghost hunters, okay?
Yes.
But I'm gonna be the judge, so it's rigged.
Okay.
It's rigged already. It's rigged. So I just want to thank each and every one of you, and hopefully you gathered something today from the show. Marie, I think, helped a lot of people with the information of how you can cope with this phenomena, how you can cope with your encounters. Okay, we don't intend to downgrade this thing or make anyone feel less anything. So when you see laughter here, it is genuine laughter, concerns from the heart, because this is how we attack it. We do not have time to wallow and be sorry and take this thing a notch down. So we do that. So I encourage each and every one of you to chime in, share the channel, bring more people here so that they can feel comfortable with the community, themselves, their experiences. Know that there's other people like them. Know that there's other people who have seen the things that they've seen, feel the things that they felt, and at the end of the day, they can express themselves here. Now, we're not doctors. If it's somebody need medical, they get a psychiatrist, all those things. That's fine. We can refer, but we're just talking about friendship, camaraderie, or love, all of those things that somebody's going to find here. With that being said, and so. I'm excited to really be a part of this in the initial movement of things. And so, again, if you have not subscribed to the channel, Marie's channel, make sure Ghostlink TV is a YouTube channel. So make sure y'all get over there and subscribe to it. When she releases that video, we'll see it, and then we will get things to it. And so, on that note, then, I'll get my cadences and get you guys out of here and say, all right, everyone, this is Roderick Martin. This is Why the Big Secret, and we are done. It is a great show tonight, and hopefully you'll be with us tomorrow. We're going to have actually an open panel, but in the meantime, you know it, your eyes are useless when your mind is blind, so think why and know that that's what we're doing here to open it. Because my job is simple, to give you enough information that'll open your mind to the curiosity, to the possibility that we're not alone in this universe. Now, as Marie says, we're not alone even in the spirit of things. And so the plot thickens, but that's why we're here with Why the Big Secret. So you got an experience, hit me on the back end, and I want to thank Mateo, I want to thank Rob G, the crew, for being here tonight as always, and supporting the cast, coming in with those ideas and questions, and all of you who helped in the backdrop, the Why the Big Secret show. I want to thank you right now, and pretty much. And so it's been a plum, pleasing pleasure, as well as a privilege. Much love to you. Good night, and you guys give everyone a hug, because at this time is one of those things we got to do. So good night to y'all right now. Everybody in the back office of the show, y'all hang on. Marie, Mateo, Rob, we're going to talk just a little bit. So, but the stream is now going the other way.